Welcome to the Vault XL, two-part live pertaining to Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell. She's wanting to meet with her husband to, get a defense ready for trial. Second part of this live is pertaining to Bryan C. Kohberger. As most of you know, someone has come forward as a ex-employee of the Mad Greek restaurant in Moscow, Idaho, saying that they saw him come into the restaurant 2 times to dine, but the owner is refuting that claim. Thank you for joining me. This is the Vault XL. Court TV, source number 1. Chad and Lori Daybell hearing audio released.
Off this hour in Idaho with the latest news on the doomsday couple, Chad and Lori Daybell. These two were reunited in the courtroom for a really important hearing ahead of their April trial. Cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, or else, believe you me, we would have been there. But we know that one of the biggest issues taken up was this request by Lori's attorneys, hear me, just Lori's attorneys, for her and Chad to be able to meet up in person and also speak on the phone, to have what the attorneys call strategy sessions. Now, state prosecutors voiced their objections to those kinds of meetings and discussions, saying that these defendants do not have an inherent legal right to have direct communication with one another. Also saying that any communication between the two of them and their attorneys together could turn the attorneys or Chad and Lori into potential case witnesses. Now, the judge heard the arguments surrounding this request and made his ruling. Take a look.
Hi, we're Visible, the wireless company who...
Sorry about that intermission. Should they be able to meet up? The state says there's nothing stating ironclad that they have to be able to talk to one another to get a defense on the table. And also, attorneys could be brought in for questioning and as witnesses to the conversations between the two. Thank you for joining me. You're now listening to the Vault XL. Court TV is the source. To keep the continuity of the content, only chat members will be on the panel. Please stay on topic. If you cannot do so, refrain from joining. Thank you very much. Court TV.
This request and made his ruling. Take a look.
The concerns raised that the court really shares are potentially the defendants inadvertently waiving privilege, because privilege only applies between lawyers and clients, and once you get other people there in the room and start talking about facts of the case, if that comes up, what they may believe is privileged may not be privileged. I'm concerned that attorneys present in these meetings, depending on who says what, could inadvertently make themselves witnesses in the case against the other party, and could result in themselves inadvertently being required to be disqualified from the case. I'm particularly concerned with the suggestion that, given the heightened security around these defendants based on not their conduct while in custody, but the charges, that the sheriff's office is in charge of their security during the course of these proceedings, and a request that both defendants be put together in a room without security in the room present, which I think would probably violate all the protocols the sheriff would have as it relates to any in custody defendants. That concerns me. And then we go back to this issue. Well, if somebody's in the room observing their law enforcement, they're listening to what's said, it's not privileged. So to me, it's a idea that's full of pitfalls that, in my opinion, would far outweigh any benefit. So as inconvenient as it may be to have to relay messages through counsel, that's the way the law is designed, to protect the rights of the defendants and have these privileges remain. So upon consideration of that, the court is going to deny the motion, and will submit an order to that effect.
All right, let's talk about this some more, shall we? We have a wonderful think tank tonight. Joining me in New York City, former senior homicide prosecutor Bernardo Villalona, in Cleveland, Ohio, criminal defense attorney Ian Friedman, and in Los Angeles, California, criminal defense attorney Lana Uretzian. Wonderful to see you all tonight. Thank you so much for being on Closing Arguments. Okay, let's talk about this ruling, and was it the right one? Ian Friedman, you know I love to pick your brain about rules of criminal procedure and rules of evidence, and we know how the judge came down and said, you all aren't going to meet on this one. Right call or not, and why, please?
It's a safe call, Julie, at this moment, but preparation for trial is unique. It's different every single time. These lawyers may run into the situation where they need to be together for some reason. There may be some obstacle that hinders the defense if they're not. I didn't hear any specificity that was articulated here today, so the judge is kind of making this ruling based upon what was stated. However, if a situation arises where they do need to be together, for part of the defense, if it is in fact a joint defense, I mean, we don't know exactly how they're going to present it. That may have to change. So I hope the judge is not locked in on it. Doesn't sound like he is, because there's other rulings he made we know about, I'm sure we'll discuss, that he's willing to still listen on. And so I think that as long as that opportunity is still there to be heard, and he can kind of adjust it from there, it's okay as of today. But today doesn't necessarily dictate what tomorrow will necessitate.
Yeah, well said, Ian. You said something else I want to expand upon further, and that is whether it's a joint defense. We may have gotten a clue with this hearing and this issue being brought up. Lana Uretzian, let me go to you on this one, please. With John Pryor, who represents Chad Daybell, not joining in on this motion made by Lori's attorney, essentially saying he also objected, like it has no interest in this meeting and any strategic planning or talking. And so that makes me kind of wonder, oh boy, is he kind of sending up signals that this isn't going to be united together in court, even though they're united in holy matrimony? What do you think, please?
I mean, it's possible.
Sorry about that intermission. One moment, you guys.
I got that sense too, but I also got the sense that this was about trial preparation for him, and the idea that the judge wouldn't allow them to meet, I thought was not necessarily the right decision in this case. We've all seen and have had many cases that involve co-defendants, and even when there's an order, ordering the co-defendants not to speak to one another, most of the time, if not all the time, judges will allow them to talk to one another and be in each other's presence when their counsel are there. These are seasoned attorneys, and they know all the risks involved. As long as they explain these risks to their clients, they should be allowed to be in the same room discussing the case. And I got the sense, at least from both attorneys, yes, one was more pro than the other, but at least there was some kind of an agreement that these two maybe should be able, I think they all should be on the same page, that they should be able to be in the same room to discuss the case.
Sure.
Whether it's joint defense or not.
I appreciate it, Lana. Bernardo Villalona, let me please tap into your experience as a prosecutor. We know these prosecutors were jumping up and down to make sure this does not happen. And they had a little victory with the ruling.
Let me intervene here. Do you believe that Lori and Chad should be able to meet? There seems to be more a Lori Vallow Daybell meetup than anything, because when you see the Chad, see him, he's null and void. She's more happy-go-lucky, smiling in videos and clips of her, and there's something very wrong with this chick, very off-putting with her behavior, because if I didn't know any better, she was just going into court for a minor traffic violation. So this shows you that there's something terribly, terribly wrong with her mentally, because there's nothing to smile about. You conspired to kill your children. Whether you were there or not present, you took the blow to the children because somebody murdered the children, somebody buried the children on your husband's property, and you acted as if you had no knowledge, or basically you ignored people trying to find the children, talk to the children. So you're complicit either way. Nobody would just kill your children and you just go along with the program. When people were trying to find the children, Miss Lori You refused to answer until a court mandated you to show the kids, which you could not because they were deceased. So this bullshit you're taking into court as if I don't know this, this, and this. That's why you want to meet up with Chad so you can bring the bang. You're trying to get with him so you can say, hey, I'm going to let them know I don't know anything about how the kids ended up on your property dead. So where is that going to leave Mr. Chad, Lori Vallow? Stop the bullshit. Just stop it.
A little victory with the ruling we know thus far from the judge on this. Help us understand why prosecutors would not want Lori and Chad talking to each other and sitting down together prior to trial.
Well, number one, there's no constitutional right for you to have access to your co-defendant. Usually when you have cases with multiple defendants, when they're in custody, you keep them separated. And you keep them separated for a reason. It could be tampering with each other's cases. It can be both of them trying to synchronize some type of plot or plan. It can be for so many reasons. But most importantly, what the judge said is that there is no attorney-client privilege once you bring in another person into the party or the conversation. So this judge is trying to protect the right of each of these defendants, especially if early on there were arguments about a motion to sever. So how is it before early on you wanted separate trials for these defendants, but now you want to unite both defendants, which can...
That is a very valid point, Miss Attorney. You two decided to get separate attorneys to represent you. So that means you were not on a united front, or the attorney you had said it would not be a good idea and you agreed. Because in the end, you have the fortitude to say to your representing attorney, public defender, how you want to proceed in the court. So you two agreed to have separate attorneys. Obviously, number one. Why now would you want to go talk to one another? If that's the case, you should have been represented by one or the same team of attorneys to represent both of you. But you both knew that down the road, there would be a division, as you see now. She is claiming she has an alibi for the night that the children were obviously missing and are dead, that they were in her brother's apartment. How convenient you would say the brother when he is no longer alive to defend himself. Same brother that killed your husband. And we do believe you conspired, some of us. You conspired with him to kill your husband, to get rid of him. What are the odds? All these people are dead pertaining to you and Chad, Chad's wife, your brother, your children. Imagine that. Yes, Chad's wife, your husband, two of your children, and your brother died naturally. Do the math. People pop up dead around these two. And the court says there is nothing on the books to say you two have to meet. Because as this attorney is saying, you both decided to be represented separately. So why do you need to meet now? Please take the polls on my page if you believe that these two should be able to meet to get a defense together.
You change next month or next week. And what are you going to do with the information you learn?
All right, appreciate it, Bernarda. Another big issue that was brought before the court was something also raised by Lori Vallow's attorneys, and that was her eligibility, or ineligibility, I should say, for the death penalty. Her lawyers are saying that prosecutors cannot prove that she participated or orchestrated or had any knowledge of these killings. Therefore, she's ineligible for it. Take a listen to some more of what they said, and then Lada, I'm coming to you right after this.
This will make your...
Well, imagine that. As I said before, Lori, you never brought forward the children when mandated by the courts. So why should somebody have to tell you to show your children? Because people were inquiring about your children and your children never surfaced. Two children, two separate children. News agents following you around from one state to the other, Hawaii, while you're vacationing or doing whatever the hell you were doing with Mr. Chad. And you both walking around with your heads down, acting stupid. Somebody's asking you about your damn kids, and you couldn't tell them anything. Where are your children? Where are your children? Where are your children? You smiling and gaping and, worse than what you're doing now. What you're doing now is way worse than how you were behaving then. So you knew where your children were. And the fact you couldn't produce them, how you end up getting arrested. Ting, ting, ting. And your husband looking stupidly in court like a sad clown. Tough cookie. You decided to kill those kids. Nobody cares about your apocalyptic ideas. You know damn well the world wasn't coming to an end. Oops, sorry, Chad, Lori, we're still here. Checkmate. Nobody told you the world was ending. Guess what? If the world was ending, why the hell you didn't kill yourself? How about that? You thought the world was ending, then you should have killed your damn self. Saved your children. Or let's say the world was going to end and you all were going to be the chosen ones left behind. That makes no logical sense. Why would God want to leave you behind if you're the chosen ones? Think, 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 think. But this is what happens when you're dodo birds and you don't think. You're just mumbling off stupid stuff to write books. You were stupid enough to fall in behind him like a sick puppy. But I believe you were already tainted before you met Chad. That's obvious. Your mother told that in commentary that you were so into the good book, God, whichever book you believe in, because I don't believe the Book of Mormon is the same as the Bible. So let's go here. What the hell is wrong with you, Lori Vallow? Is it because of those issues you had with your husband, allegations of child molestation, you lost your way, you lost your mind, and then you meet Mr. Chad, you fall deeper into the rabbit hole, and somehow you let this thing talk you into killing your kids? Which was it, you or him? Because somebody brought up the idea about those kids needing to be gone. And the fact that he murdered his wife, which some of us believe he did, then that means he already had murder on the brain. So he was tainted from the jump. And then in comes Lori, the crazy blonde, with no type of sense of direction, looking for something and found it in Satan. Thank you for joining me. You are now listening to the Vault XL. Let's finish this commentary. Court TV is the source.
Take a listen to some more of what they said, and then Lada, I'm coming to you right after this.
I know the state thinks I'm making this up, but I didn't make it up. It's in the case law that you either, in order to be death eligible, you have to kill or attempt to kill, or you have to have reckless disregard for human life, and you have to be a major contributor to the crime. We don't believe that they are going to be able to prove that Lori was a major contributor to the crime, and we don't believe they're going to be able to prove that that Lori actually participated in any of these events, or that she even knew about any of these events that were going to happen. She didn't anticipate them happening, and certainly was not a participant. The state has indicated in their response that they will be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Ms. Daybell intended for her victims to die. We look forward to hearing that. The state also indicated that Ms. Daybell participated in the killing of her own children. We look forward to seeing the evidence on that, because we don't believe that either of those statements can be supported by anything. That certainly is new information for the defense.
Mrs. Daybell is not charged with felony murder. She's not charged with the death of her children and Tammy Daybell in furtherance of another felony. She's charged with conspiracy to commit murder. I'm not going to get into the evidence of the case. It suffices to say that a grand jury has found probable cause, and that she did commit these crimes. And I certainly understand the defense is not going to come in here and admit that. There has been a probable cause finding by a grand jury she committed these crimes. The state has complied with the rules laid out to seek the death penalty. Again, there's no case law, nor has any case law been presented that applies these rulings in these felony murder cases to conspiracies to commit murder. The word is intent. That's the issue here. And that's what probable cause has been found by a grand jury to exist. She intended for her children and Tammy Daybell to die.
Exactly.
The state intends to prove that. Absent any precedent that would apply this, the rationale of Edmund and Tyson to these cases, we'd ask this court to deny the motion.
Are you sick of having issues with your weapon?
Sorry about that. Well, she never produced her child. That shows to me you had knowledge your children were dead. So it doesn't matter if you pull the blow or not. You never produced the children when asked by the judge. So that shows you had knowledge the children were gone. Guilt to me. To me, that's perfect evidence. You knew of something. Because why are you walking around without your children?
Edmund and Tyson. To these cases, we'd ask this court to deny the motion.
All right, so the judge has taken the issue under advisement. He'll be making his ruling by way of a written decision at some point in the near future. We don't have an expected date on that, but we'll certainly keep everyone posted. Lana Uretzian, I want to tap into your experience doing death penalty cases. One very famous one I know our viewers are aware of, Scott Peterson, is one of the people you have represented throughout your career. And tell us who you think is right on this one. Does Lori have a point here that she shouldn't be eligible for potentially the death penalty because of lack of direct involvement, as her attorney says?
It's a very interesting issue that her lawyers have raised. It almost sounded like they were arguing, and they are arguing, that she's not guilty. To me, but basically they were arguing the elements and basically saying she had no knowledge and she didn't participate. I don't know if they're arguing that she's an accessory after the fact. I'm not sure, but honestly, to me, it sounded more like an argument that you would make to a jury that they should be acquitting their client versus whether she's eligible for the death penalty or not.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, it does certainly sound like that. And another question, somewhat related, please, Lana, is one thing that jumped out at us here at Court TV was that John Pryor, who represents Chad Daybell, did not file the same kind of motion, saying that his client isn't death penalty eligible. And from what we understand, that's kind of a standard practice. Do you see that as problematic? Why or why not, please?
Interesting that he hasn't filed it. Maybe the defense, and it really does stand out. Because it's interesting that Lori's attorneys are raising that argument. You would think that automatically he would be raising the same argument unless, and I can't even say that, it almost looks like he's a little more involved. There's more evidence than we know of. I thought the involvement was pretty close on both ends, and they're both involved based on the evidence that I've heard until now. So it's a little interesting to me. Maybe they're taking their time, that maybe this is coming up and they just haven't filed it.
Court TV is the source of that said information. So what we have here, Lori's attorney's filing the motion. She's not eligible for the death penalty. Do you agree or not agree? Is this all Chad's doing? He killed her kids, buried the children. Lori had no knowledge. But as I said before, if I'm to believe that, then why didn't you, one, report your children missing? Number one. Number two, when the family was calling and asking about the children, wanting to see the little boy, video chat, nothing. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Other friends and family asking about the children, excuses, excuses, excuses. Lying to the schools about the children being out and away. That shows knowledge. You were conspiring then because the children were dead. There is your proof. So whether she's being charged with conspiracy or not, she had knowledge that those children were going to leave the earth. Because one, why are you lying to all these people about where the children are if you didn't know where they were? You have no reason to lie, because if they're alive, you have no reason to lie. That shows the conspiring. You did know where they were. You did conspire. I'm not going to sit here and believe this man just found your kids, came and got your kids, took them to eat ice cream, and then beat them up, hacked them up, threw them inside of dirt on his property. And all this time, people are wondering where the hell these kids are. They're right there on Chad's property. That was so disturbing. It's so disturbing to know all this time, following these two jokers around, these kids were right there in Idaho, buried on his property. Nobody even thought to look there. When you knew she was dating him and the kids couldn't surface. Ding, 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 use your head. Where could they be? 2 kids missing? What are the odds of 2 kids? Should have been obvious. A whole damn year, damn near. You got to track fucking phone records to find 2 kids that were buried on his property. And he was bold to put them there. Of all places, why would you bury the kids there? And the reason why he's not filing a motion as to exclude himself from the death penalty, because he knows the kids were found on his property. She can easily say, yeah, I didn't know anything about it. I don't know anything. But as I told you, the fact you could never surface the children. You were mandated by a court to bring the children forward and could not because they were dead. That's why you were lying to everybody about the kids, because you knew they were dead. So that would lead me to believe that you conspired to have your children killed. What you want me to believe? He just found your kids, killed them, and then said, hey, Lord, just wanted to let you know I killed your kids during my backyard. You don't mind, do you? You ain't mad, are you? I still love you. We didn't need those kids anyway. We're the chosen ones. We've got to get them out of the way. Oops, I forgot they were the devil, were they not? How did that go? Everybody's the devil, except for you 2. Oh, let's not leave out your brother, because he plays a big role in this too, and he's dead. Natural causes, they say. Amazing how everybody's the enemy. Satan spawns, except for you 2. You know, pumping religion, as I call it, pimping Jesus. Everybody else is at fault. Everybody else is nasty, mean, vile people, except for you 2. You 2 are the chosen ones. God's been talking to you directly. Funny, God isn't talking to anybody else but 2 baby killers. Imagine that. God said, of all the people I'm going to pick to talk to, I'm going to talk to 2 baby killers. Because I think my words would get to them quicker than any other civilian. Am I hearing that correctly, Lori, Chad? You 2 are the chosen ones out of 139,000. Dang. Gots to be more careful. Should these 2 be able to meet for their upcoming trials? Should she be exempt from the death penalty? Why isn't Chad Daybell filing the same motion? Because that's the truth. If you're going to say she's not eligible for the death penalty, then you also say, hell, she could be acquitted of all crimes, conspiracy. Let my client go. She didn't do anything. You don't have any proof she helped kill her kids, had knowledge of her kids, but yet her behavior, once children were inquired, shows guilt, shows conspiracy. And the fact that she was purchasing a ring on her dead husband's account. Now, let's see. Your husband's dead, so that means you're a widow. So who were you buying a wedding band for, Lori? Ding, 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 ding. That's where the conspiring comes in for his wife's murder. You're a very lonely creature. You and Chad. And you two are rightfully in the place where you should be, a tiny box. And you do deserve the death penalty for killing those babies. That's my said commentary on those two. Bryan C. Kohberger. Second part of this live stream. Thank you for joining me. Should Lori and Chad be able to meet for upcoming trials? 100% of you said no out of 57 votes. Well, all right. Please check out my earlier live pertaining to Jacqueline Giselle West. They are facing a jury trial. They are to meet this Wednesday in a California court. Do you think Bryan Kohberger will take a plea bargain if offered or later during the trial? Initially, 6%. Later, 34%, never. 60% out of 141 votes. Thank you so much. Do you think the state of Idaho has an airtight case against Bryan Kohberger thus far? 52% of you said yes. 17% of you said no. And 31% of you are not sure out of 121 votes. Boy, that's not pleasing right there. You all don't think they have an airtight case already? Okay. Newsmax is my second source pertaining to the Idaho murders, the latest evidence. Thank you for joining me. The link will be dropped after this last audio. Please stay on topic if you hit the panel. Only chat members will be allowed to hit the panel as to keep the continuity and the flow of the information during the live stream. Thank you for joining me, Newsmax.
Months until the trial of suspect Bryan Kohberger. This as attorneys build their case against him. Magistrate Judge Megan Marshall faces pushback for her gag order, now broadened to any attorneys representing survivors and the victims' family members. Here to help us break this down, the latest is former FBI agent, former Navy SEAL, and author of Sheep No More, Jonathan Gilling. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. So, according to reports, the search warrant executed at Kohberger's home yielded less evidence than expected, showing 15 items recovered, including hair, receipts, a computer tower, and a disposable glove, and items with odd stains. Do you think they have an airtight case against him?
I think they do, even without any of that stuff adding up, although I do believe that the computer is probably going to add up to quite a bit. The cartographers or the computer people that the FBI has, they can go through and find stuff that's just amazing that you think would be completely gone. So I think that if he's done anything nefarious on that computer that points back to these victims, that would be a plus. But overall, I have to tell you, from my opinion of how the affidavit read, was that the case is pretty tight already, just with that evidence alone. So anything else that puts him in the vicinity of those individuals before that murder, or any evidence from that murder scene that's outside of the scene, even a single hair, will be a death knell to Bryan Kohberger.
Yeah, official reports are not expected to be known anytime soon because of this gag order. What are your thoughts on this? Because, we've talked about this before, Jonathan. A lot of information is getting leaked, whether it's from the victim's family or from the media. This could essentially, having all this extra information, potentially harm the prosecutor's case.
Right, and this information that's being reported even now about the potential that Kohberger had attempted to talk to 3 of the victims on social media is coming from an alleged investigator close to the case. So I'm not sure if that is someone that is actually law enforcement or if that is a hired investigator by one of the families. And if either way, I think this gag order should be extended to include investigators that work for the families. The reason I'm so harsh on this is because unlike what you see with another Bryan Walsh in Massachusetts, I believe it is, they're telling everything to the public, but it's a bigger swath of citizens that live in that area, more of a chance you're going to get a jury that's not tainted one way or the other. In this case, if there's things reported, this is what people need to realize, if things are reported over and over again as being truth, and then it goes to court and the defense can say, no, this wasn't truth, and it was shown to the public and it prejudices them, that's going to be a problem for the prosecution. And it just takes one juror to be convinced that Bryan Kohberger is innocent and the
Very
case
true.
is going to be in real trouble.
Yeah, great points there. You mentioned these reports about social media. So according to this report, that he allegedly followed all 3 victims on Instagram, messaged one repeatedly. You know, Jonathan, this happens a lot. People can be stalked and not even know that they're being stalked, mainly because of social media. Just some advice for people out there. I know I went through it. I have a lot of friends who've gone through it as well. How do you stay safe when you're on social media and you're putting your life out there?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I get threats all the time, but I also get people who are emotionally disturbed write me, and people who need help. So it's hard to sift through all those things. But I do go through all the messages, and I do recommend that people at least take a look at the messages. You don't have to engage the people.
Very
but
true.
We have a whole nother area where, especially on Instagram, where if you're not friends with these people or following them and they message you, it's going to go to this other account or this other area in your email. And I advise going in there and looking at it and seeing if anybody is fixated on you, seeing if anybody is showing any unusual knowledge about who you are. But often you get a lot of bots and things that's saying hello to you. So it's just good to sift through those things, at least get an eye for what it is. Because in this case, if he was trying to contact him in October and then he shows up in the restaurant, if they're aware of his face, they might have been able to see him.
Right. Also,
So what is the truth to these allegations? This allegation that he went to the Mad Greek 2 times, former employee. The owner has spoken refuting this claim, saying he has not been there. Also, she states, Ms. Fisher, she did not tell the staff to not speak to reporters. They collectively agreed not to talk about the case, as not to disrespect the family and let the investigation take its course. Rumor or fact? The fact that, or the allegation of Kohberger following the girls on social media, this has come from an investigator. Is this an investigator on the case or a family investigator? Will there be proof in court to show he followed the girls? I brought you information from Sweetie Pie Lowe's content that she pulled up information on the computer screen that he was following the girls. So was he showing his actual face and government name as following the young ladies? I won't doubt that he used alternate accounts when he didn't get a response. Will they be able to show in court also that there's a correlation between the time he followed the girls and or drove by the house? That is very, very important. As mentioned in another content on Nancy Grace's podcast, can they show following the girls, putting in a message, and then going over to the house because he didn't get a response? Will they have information in his phone, the victim's phones, messages sent to them, and then same day he pops up at the residence? Will there be a change of venue because the defense feels they can't get a fair trial for their client, Mr. Kohberger? And all it takes is one person on the jury to believe that BK is innocent. And you see a lot of people commenting in the chat and social media articles stating, telling people not to judge, blah, blah, blah. Well, they have evidence of him at the scene. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. Because I use deduction. Who you are, do the kids know you? Proof you've been in a house as a friend. Anyone that knows you that would have any of your items to take to their house to plant. That's how I form my decision. And too many things are so far leading up to Kohberger. 10 billion people on the earth. How did law officials come to you, your front door, your car? And what will the evidence come back from the lab, from your house, your car, your parents' home, linking you to the victims, such as blood, sweat, skin cells, skin, DNA mixed in at the crime scene? You're not going to be able to explain that logically. And why would your DNA be wrapped up in blood of 4 bloody people? 4 bludgeoned people at that. Make it make sense. Thank you for joining me. The link is in the chat. If you're a chat member, new sub, feel free to hit the link to hit the panel. keep the continuity and the flow of this live stream going. Newsmax is the source.
Aware of his face, they might have been able to see him.
Right. Also, not to post things in real time of where you are in case somebody is
Well,
following and watching.
True.
I want to quickly get to the case in Massachusetts. Bryan Walsh, as we were talking about, it's the husband of Ivana Walsh. He's been charged with murder. They have
Okay, I'm going to come off of that because they're not going to another case. That's the said information by Newsmax. If you need verification for the information, investigator who leaked the information about Kohberger following the girls. This is going to be a problem because a while ago, there was no link of Kohberger to the girls, allegedly from her family and that lawyer that represents the Gonsalves. So who is the person giving out the information that Kohberger followed the girls and went into one of the girls' DM on IG? Restaurant rumor. Former employee says he was there ordering a vegan pizza. Owner refutes the claim. Who's telling the truth? Will there be a change of venue? Will the defense get jiggy and say, we can't find anybody here, which makes no damn sense because Idaho watches TV media, and I doubt that you will be able to take this case anywhere else where a person has not heard of these children being killed. And once again, in trying to pick a sound jury, all it takes is one person to think he's innocent, even with all the information being revealed. And if you have people already now acting as if they don't even have damn DNA, imagine when they show everything and you've got your dodo bird sitting up in there refuting the evidence. All it takes is one. Welcome to the Vault XL. The link is in the chat. If you'd like to voice your opinion and you are in the chat currently visiting, feel free to hit the panel to give your opinion. Please stay on topic. It helps the continuity of the information if you stay on topic and address all questions by the hostess. Thank you so much for your time. Two-part live. Lori and Chad Daybell'S conspiring to meet up to discuss their defense and the latest developments pertaining to Bryan Kohberger and the rumor that he was at the Mad Greek. And the owner is refuting that claim. Very sad situation. These are dirty spawns in Idaho. This is a very sick omen of 3 people, one young killing other young people, and 2 grown people that know better killing children and other said parties for their own selfish reason. I do believe all 3 are guilty of the said charges. Chad and Lori, and also Bryan C. Kohberger. That's my opinion. No doppelgangers, no ghost. They're all complicit. Please check out my community board for said updates to news stories and breaking news and other content. Please take the driving tour to Pullman, Washington we took yesterday. Very nice commentary. A realtor has put up content a year or so ago of the sights and sounds of Pullman, Washington. I posted that to my, made the video rather, to show you the good side of this Pullman, Washington, something positive out of there besides the latest developments of Kohberger being a PhD student at the university. And naturally, there is also some good in Moscow, Idaho, and everywhere else in the United States. One place cannot take the blame for one person's nasty decision to kill another human being. He just arrived there. Nobody knew him, allegedly. So what he decided to do in Moscow, Idaho, was of his own choosing. If he has a co-conspirator, then we will see if there's evidence to that fact. But nonetheless, what you choose to do is of your own. No one put a gun to your head and told you to go kill these kids. No difference than the two here, Lori and Chad. It was a sound decision to kill these children, and that's their choice. Hello, Tracy. Welcome to the chat. If you are in the viewing of this live stream and you have been chatting inside of this live stream, please join the panel to give your opinion pertaining to Lori and Chad and Bryan Kohberger and the latest information and evidentiary material released from an unsealed warrant of his apartment. And commentary from Mad Greek's owner, Miss Fisher, stating has not, been to her establishment ordering food. Is that true? And I'm not here to say that she is a liar. I'm not here to say that the employee is lying, the former employee, but somebody is not telling the truth. So what you have to ask yourself is the obvious. Who would know better? 2, who was there every day to say who came in and out of the restaurant ordering food online? Many restaurants take online orders. You're entitled to your opinion. The Queen will be 52 on Sunday. It is now approaching Tuesday. God is good. Amen. Thank you for joining me. I've been asked to be a judge for an upcoming reality TV audition. I want to thank Miss Tracy for asking the Queen to participate in the rendering of the cast for the upcoming reality show to be filmed here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I will do my best to be non-judgmental of the castmates. I bet some will say, yeah, right. Anyway, the final decision naturally will be up to CEO of this reality show. I'm praying that everything goes all well with this show, the production, and that it will be stimulating content that will also be viewed to the public and also to YouTube. That is her vision, to also bring it to YouTube. I will try to film as much as I can this upcoming Friday from the auditions of this reality show to give you a glimpse of the process and the Queen's grand articulation. Yes, I'm going to be multifaceted before I leave this earth. If that means God lets me live to be 80, I still want to have my foot on top of this dirt doing something well worthwhile. Thank you for following the content. Thank you for the donations. Lumbee Queen, thank you. Thank you all for your donations, super chats, super stickers, following the content. Once again, Jacqueline Giselle West are to attend a hearing on Wednesday, and the trial is to start January 30th, which is next Monday, pertaining to the murders of their adoptive boys. I will bring you that set information. Thank you so very much for following the content. Yes, the Queen is going to try to do as much as she can. You only live once. Well, I guess somebody will hit the link eventually. If not, I will check out of here. More things to do. I never really thought about being a producer. My bag was wanting to be an actress, but hey, if I can put my hat on as a producer of a show, I will gladly take the honor if I can do anything of use in the entertainment business. Why not? You only live once. I have no idea, Ashley. Probably not, because that was audio I played earlier, so no cameras were in that proceeding, so I don't think so. I hope they have cameras in this West case. I really do like to see their facial expressions. People testify, evidentiary material brought forward. And naturally, the boys have not been found, Cal City boys. But that's my said commentary for this live stream pertaining to Chad and Lori Daybell. Lori is wanting to meet up with him. Her attorneys feel like she should not be in the running for the death penalty. I guess they're saying she had no knowledge of the children being deceased. But I believe her actions show that she did have knowledge that her children were dead. Because one, she never produced her children, talked about her children at some point, and could not produce them when mandated by a judge. So that's enough for me. 1 minute, Paris. Let me check again, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Because it's got a lot of crazy letters. Let me see. Oh, okay. I put an extra number in there where I had overlapped myself. Sorry about that, sweetie. One second, hon. All these weird letterings. I mean, it's like an abundance. You're welcome, sweetheart. Thank you. Welcome to the Vault XL. This is a channel pertaining to breaking news, news updates, various topics, and also true crime. Please check out my community board for movie suggestions and TV series to watch. Some have already been on the network for a while, but they're new to the queen. I'm going to give you some suggestions. One I found last night, a very crazy movie I was watching. I don't know what possessed me to watch this movie. God pray for me. But I was watching it. Prayers also for the victims out in Monterey Park, California. I've got content on my page pertaining to them, those victims and those people, the suspect and information. No One Gets Out Alive is my movie suggestion for the week, now playing on Netflix. We've got Paris coming up. All right.
Hello, hello.
Hi, pretty. Where are you calling me from?
Hello. I am calling you from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yes, I see you looking fabulous. Thank you so much. Would you like to start with Lori and Chad Daybell first?
I would love to start with the Idaho 4, if you don't mind.
No, let's do Chad. We'll do them later because it might get lengthy. What you have to say about the Idaho 4? So do you not follow anything with Lori and Chad or no?
I am.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, Lori, she's the worst.
Just take your time.
She is the worst, and let me look at my notes. I made notes.
Oh, what?
I did.
Okay.
Okay. So
let me ask you the questions, and it makes it easier if I do it that way. Okay.
That would be perfect.
Okay. So let's go here. They're saying, her attorneys, that she doesn't have any knowledge Okay, she doesn't have any knowledge of the children, how they got to be where they are. So you tell me, should she be exempt from the death penalty as just perhaps having no knowledge or possibly having knowledge after the fact? Go ahead.
Certainly not. Certainly
Okay.
not. There have been people put to death for much less.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not think that she should be spared
Okay.
because she is not. I think that we should just. I think that they should both be eligible. They're both complicit.
Okay.
And even if it was just her allowing that, she's still equally as guilty, even if it was just like her words.
Yes. Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you think she told him, I want the kids gone? Or do you think he said, we don't need the kids, they're evil? How do you think it went?
I think that they both decided that the kids were zombies.
Okay.
I think is what they were saying.
Okay.
That the kids were zombies, but
Okay.
really what that meant is we should really just, how much more fun could we have?
Exactly.
The chosen ones?
I agree with you. Yes.
No children.
Okay. So let's go here. Before he even met her, are we to believe also that his wife was a zombie? See where I'm going?
Yes. I think
Okay.
anyone slightly irritating to them in their lifestyle was a zombie.
Okay. That's a good point. That's a very good point, Paris. Very
Thank
good
you.
point. Anyone that got in the way, such as her husband, he's in the way. Very good point.
Thank you. Her husband, eventually her brother,
Yes.
I think he knew too much. Well, I'm
Yes.
sure he did. And also his Chad's wife.
Mm-hmm. Somebody in the chat says Chad not paying any attention to Lori in court. He's going to blame everything on her. What do you think about that? Do you think he's not saying anything because he's already got a plan to say, I just did what she wanted. I was in love with her.
I think that he's pushing away he's coming away from wanting to be looked at as super crazy. Like, I think that she loves that. I also think that she is super crazy. Like, something's off, obviously.
Something is off of her, yes.
I think he's going to play it really cool, and I don't think that I think that he is going to distance himself as much from her as possible.
Okay.
So that maybe he'll get a little bit more
get life instead of death. Yes, because that will be the only thing that their attorneys can fight for, and I think they know that just because it's so obvious. Once people were asking to see these kids, see that shows complicity there. Absolutely. I'm asking to see the children. You can't even provide the children.
The whole trip to Hawaii and brushing off photographers.
Yes.
Certainly not.
Yeah, lying to the schools. Now you got to tell the people why you were lying to the schools if you didn't know anything was wrong with your children.
Well, they did know something was wrong with their children. They were zombies.
Yeah. Okay, but the school don't know that they're zombies. You see where I'm going?
That's true. I mean, did she?
The grandparents didn't know the little boy was a zombie. You didn't call them and say, hey, I think he's a zombie. Come get him. See what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I don't want him anymore.
Because I think they would have.
Okay, but I'm not going to tell you that because my plan is more than just they're zombies. I want these kids out of the way. And really, that's just an easy way to knock off your kids, family members. They're all zombies. We're the chosen ones. We had to eradicate these people.
We're saving their souls or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
They should save their own souls. They don't seem very concerned with their own souls.
So you do believe that she should be in the running for the death penalty, Lori Vallow?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you think they should be able to meet in court? Because that's the issue right now.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, meet behind closed doors. I'm sorry. Okay.
Certainly. I mean, behind closed doors, she would love that,
Yeah, of course. You see how she's smiling in court, all this.
She would love that. Like, that would just be such a little treat for her, and I don't think she deserves any little treat.
But you see how crazy she's acting, all this giddiness and laughing in the car, and in the back seat, smiling and stuff.
I don't know what's worse, like the smiling and the laughing.
Yes, it's scary.
Or like the frown she does.
Yeah.
The really hard, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. But have you seen her in court sitting next to her lawyer? 1 minute she's like sitting close, but then I think she realizes, ooh, I better not sit too close, so she scoots over. And it's just like, what is going on with this chick?
She may be trying to get a little bit more time. Just because you don't want to run and get punished by your parents. So maybe she just is trying to get a little bit more time in an institution so that they can, you know.
Wait a minute. What, Paris?
I mean, what else?
What you saying? She's trying to play like she's crazy with the giddy itch and the laughing to make it look like she's mentally insane?
Well, I think that I could be wrong.
Because in Idaho, you can't use that as a defense.
Well, didn't she? I think that you can sort of, but they'll just like, they'll make it so that they'll prop you up in court.
Yeah. They said it could be mentioned that you have mental issues, but it can't be a defense only.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's clearly an issue.
So do you think she's only wanting to meet with him to, one, play up on him and then bring him to bang, hey, I'm going to say you did it all by yourself?
I think she just wants to get her little like kiki in and like talk to him because that's all she has, you know.
Okay.
Is like that little interaction, I think.
Okay.
And I just don't think she has like literally anything else going for her. So just a little chit chat with her husband. And I do think that she will in turn flip it on him.
That's what I'm asking you. Do
like
you
get a
think...
little bit more info and then flip
okay,
it
okay.
But I also think she wants to like tee and talk to her husband, you know?
Yeah, well, she hasn't seen him in a while, so I can see her wanting to see her husband.
He's in no rush. It doesn't seem like to see.
Yeah,
her.
he's very bland.
He's so bland.
In court, just kind of stares off, and he's got this real sick puppy dog look.
It seems
She's
like
giddy.
he's always looked like that, though. I feel like he just looks like that. It's just what he
so you have to ask yourself, what was the attraction between the two?
What was it? I don't. Wasn't he like an author?
Yes, an author. Yes,
he read a book.
Yeah, he wrote. Yeah, he wrote books.
He wrote books, and she read a book of his. Maybe read another book, and then like
Paris. Paris.
I don't know what else. You know.
All right, let's hit Kohberger because I see you want to talk about that more. Okay, so
hang on, let me flip my notes over.
I brought them both up because they both have ties to Idaho, both cases. We have this rumor that Kohberger went to the Mad Greek, but their owner says no. I brought content this week, if you read it or listened to it, that she says no, it's a fabrication. She and the employees all together decided not to speak about the case, asked to respect the family and the integrity of the investigation. How do you feel about, first, the rumor that he has been there?
I mean, I think that would be, I think it would be weirder if he never had gone there.
Really? Tell me why.
Because if he does seem to be like a vegan, like he has to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but let's be truthful. But let me stop you there because I want everybody to understand this. You know there are more restaurants in Moscow that would serve vegetable-style meals. I refuse to believe there's nowhere there that just don't serve meals without meat. You know, it's just meat always.
I do believe that.
However, of course.
Even in a place, I just think about like my experience with ordering like vegan food and not having like I'm not vegan, but my roommate was. Even in LA, if we were in LA once and there was like 3 or 4 places and anytime we'd go to LA, we would go to just those couple of places.
Okay.
In all of LA, like that was just like a
popular thing on the menus. Okay.
Yeah, so it wouldn't shock me if, Mad Greek seems to be pretty popular and seems to have great reviews, I think. So
okay. So do you think it's more that you think it's that because they worked there and you're hearing rumors that he was in their DM makes you more think that he went there? Not necessarily food.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
Because you got to remember, you didn't know anything until they said, oh, yeah, somebody's saying close to the case. Oh, he was in the DM. Yeah, he followed them. Yeah, 2 worked there. Of course, that rumor was out in the beginning, too, that possibly he went there.
I did think that I had seen screenshots or that he did follow them maybe and liked some.
Yeah, Sweetie Pie Lowe said she posted up on her content that he followed the girls. So
and liked a few pictures, I think.
So then, too, the girls possibly posted pictures of themselves, Maddie and Xana, being at their restaurant. So I don't think it would take very long for him to put 2 and 2 together where they live, locations of places they frequent, because a lot of people do like to post things of where they go, which is dangerous because on Kaylee's IG, it's got Moscow, Idaho up under her name. So now you've got that. I see you got Idaho sweatshirts on.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably done this before. You've probably talked about Moscow. I get to see a view of your house when you're going live stream, pictures. Then the good old Google, pay True Finder, whomever, for information of your location. The rest is history.
Oh, here's what I had this. Do you know? So the times that Bryan's phone pinged around there, were there parties there on that night, or do we know? No,
we don't know that yet, babe.
But if there were, that I feel like that could make sense, even if.
So let's go there.
Mm-hmm.
He has gone by nights they've had parties, because I've also asked that to the chat. Do you believe he went there when that video, they have the the body cameras of them August, September? Do you think perhaps he was stalking around? Because they're saying really he was stalking around daytime more than nighttime. They've only got him there, I think, maybe once at night. I'll stand corrected. So that means he could be at school studying. What are you doing over there during the day? Watching the house? Because that would be the time they're at work and at school.
Oh, so it's like during the daytime.
Yeah, he was stalking during the day.
Oh, well, then there wasn't parties. I was thinking that maybe
Well, she didn't have a party early. The one time they went to the house where he's got the camera on, she's got the orange dress on. That's like 5 o'clock in the evening.
But were they
and that was during
or
August.
They just, like, day drinking?
Well, it's just,
being loud.
A guy or somebody come out. Yeah, she had the Bluetooth box going.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But they also, one lady made a good point on Nancy Grace's podcast, is that will they be able to time the following of the girls, messaging of the girls with him showing up at the house, such as, I DM you, don't respond, then I run over to Moscow. That's a very good question.
But I wonder how sure he would have, if that was what happened, I wonder how sure he would have been that they were at home. All of them were at home.
Well, it doesn't matter. What they're trying to say is, let's say I messaged you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will they be able to show in court, I sent you a DM, you didn't respond, and then my ping shows me going over to Moscow residence same day or 20 minutes later. See where I'm going?
Yeah.
You're not responding to me, so I want to go see what you're doing.
Weird. Yeah. Okay. I bet that I'm not sure if Instagram keeps that type of information.
But it can show at the time I sent you the message. You got to remember, everything's got a time. So I messaged you at 5:40 p.m. Do I now show up? It's
in Moscow,
6 o'clock at 11:22 King Road. See where I'm going?
Yes.
The ping on my phone.
I wonder.
To me, that was so creepy thinking about that. Say what, baby?
I said that, or excuse me. That would just be completely damning if they could show that.
Well, I think they've done that already. If they can show that they've been there 12 times,
I think they have plenty.
That will also probably show when he actually sent the messages to the DM, whether it was under this account, that account. All that's going to show a time. So even when you start lining up the timing, it could show, well, he sent the message at 6:40 p.m.
Yeah.
Now he's at 11:22 King Road, 7:15.
I think that, I think that what they have already, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about.
I'm not worried either.
The case. I feel like they have more.
I think they do too.
And even just like one
hair fiber.
Exactly.
What's going to be real jacked up? If that's dog hair in the car, in his car, at his apartment, how are you now going to explain dog hair that belongs to that dog in your house or car?
Well, I think that they have used they've definitely used animal hair.
They can use animal hair. Animal hair has been used in true crime, yes.
But Murphy the golden doodle will have like a certain kind of hair, but that doesn't mean his hair is going to be exact. Does he have another golden doodle that he's in contact
with? And what do you think?
I mean,
Possibly no. If
probably
he can't
not.
show that he has a dog and a golden doodle, and the people across the street haven't been in your house with a golden doodle, see where I'm going?
Surely- yeah.
Yes.
No way. You're right. Okay.
Mhm.
I think that, that would be the most. I feel like his car is stressing him out.
Oh, his car is probably has the most evidence because
Yeah,
the
'cause
fact that
think
he
of all
cleaned
the
his car,
pranks.
the fact that he cleaned his car a month later
Yeah,
shows me
when
he knew they were on his trail in Indiana. He got scared,
Mhm.
did all that vigorous cleaning, gloves, taking out trash to the neighbor's house.
Mhm.
That shows me he said, I got to redo this car.
And think of all the places French fries end up in the car. Like, I could not imagine.
That's true. Very true. Very
You know
true.
what I mean? Like, I could not imagine.
Crayons, things that children have, they drop. That's true. That's very true. You are very
Also-
smart because that's true.
I mean, it's gonna be. I think that the car, if nothing else, if there's
nothing
nothing
else.
in his apartment, I
Yes,
think the
uh-huh.
car.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. I think the car will probably have more because he had to get in the car once he left the house. So let's go
Yeah.
ahead and break up the other topics that everyone keeps dwelling on. Give me your opinion pertaining to DM. Since you're here.
I have a whole page.
Okay. Oh, you know what? You're scaring me, Paris.
I'm so sorry. No,
You take notes from the information?
I mean, just any information because I will be talking about something or like thinking about something and I just can't remember it again. So I've been writing everything down.
Okay.
But also, when I come on your live stream, I'm just like, like I just hear
All over the
elevator
place. Your
music in
head's
my
everywhere.
mind. Yeah.
So let's start with the affidavit. What you heard in the affidavit pertaining to her seeing him at the end, opening and closing doors, hearing sounds, wording. Go ahead.
I have so much. First of all, did she see him leaving
Leaving.
or arriving?
Leaving. Allegedly.
Okay.
Go ahead. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. Trust me. Queen's got a full. I don't have a busy schedule, so just take your
I
time.
don't either. I don't either.
Okay.
You're looking at it.
Well, that's okay. Oh, let me throw this at you if you haven't been listening to the content. My friend is trying to start a reality show here in Knoxville,
Yeah.
and she kindly asked me to be one of the judges for the girls this upcoming week.
Oh my
So I thought I'd let you know that. I told her I'd rather be a friend of the show because I do not want anyone following me. Just for security reasons, I don't want anyone following me around.
But still be careful. You're really gonna be an instant celeb. Like my fiance, he's a huge Queen fan. He is.
Really?
Yes.
Well, thank you.
I will tell him every time he's like, is that the Queen? He's like,
Yeah,
"Look,
because
that's
there's something new this year I'm wanting to start. I want to start because I have to make sure I get all my finances in order. But this year I'm wanting to travel to different parts of the United States and meet the fans. Every few months I'd like to travel to a different city and take one of the fans out to dinner. That's something I had been wanting to do a few months ago. Well, about a year or two ago. So that's the new plan. That's why there's the channel change, new direction, doing things the way I used to do it. So that's something I like to do is meet up with the fans, maybe take a fan out to dinner. We film it live, show the fan, need one of the fans out on the town or doing something nice.
Okay, I have
Go ahead.
An idea. Okay, what I suggest is you should do your first meetup in Vegas. Yes. And I have tons and tons of rooms stacked up that I just don't, because I live here, so I just never stay there. Anyway, so I would love to put you up in a really nice resort if you like when you come to Vegas.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you.
I'm so serious.
Okay.
I'm out here.
Okay.
And I'll take you to dinner.
Oh, well, no, that's not how that's supposed to go.
We can still film it. It'll be super fun.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm sure Tracy would love to go to Vegas because
Yes.
I've got a relative that hangs with one of the former housewives of basketball wives of Miami,
No.
Jennifer. Please follow my cousin Paige, My Amazing Face on Facebook. She's a staple down in Atlanta, Georgia. She has a cosmetic line, so she stays pretty visible down there in the social scene of Atlanta, Georgia.
I'm gonna look that up. I love supporting.
Yes, My Amazing Face.
I love makeup.
And you'll see her in a lot of photos with a lot of famous people down there in Atlanta.
You guys have to come up here. I'm so serious.
I would love to come to Vegas. I've been wanting to go out west for some time.
I am a I'm an artist.
Yeah, yes, because you haven't told me your profession. What do you do out there?
I'm an artist. I was a stay-at-home Chihuahua rescue owner. I had a little Chihuahua that I rescued, and she just slowly got like more blind and older.
What?
So I literally a year and a half. That's like all I did.
Okay.
But right now I'm just redoing. I'm like redecorating my boudoir, and I do art for my.
Well, please check out my my uploads. I've been sharing other people's decorating. You know how people have homes for sale, and I've got some uploads I did earlier out of Texas. Very beautiful homes, and I love sharing that because I love home decor, as most people know.
I love I love staged homes. I feel like I can never get my house that good.
Yeah, so that's why I want you to check out the page then. Check out the videos I uploaded yesterday. Those houses obviously are staged. They're owned by the company, but you can see that they're staged and up for sale. But they should give you some good ideas. And they just rotate the houses. They go in one house, then the next scene is another house. So you can get a lot of ideas.
Do like walkthroughs?
Yes, they're walkthroughs,
That's so nice. I'm like doing so much in my house right now. But
well, I'm the Zen look, and my new look now is supposed to be black and white and yellow or gold. We'll see.
Black and white and gold is classic.
Yeah, that's my bedroom. Black and white with a little hint of gray. Silver is in there. And then this living room is in rotation. The bathroom's black and white.
My whole house is Barbie.
Oh, you like
not
pink.
Like Barbie merchandise necessarily.
Okay, but the color pink.
I am Barbie. You know.
Okay, I got you.
Like I have a pink lips couch and like a this fuchsia couch, and I do my neutral colors are black and white, so I do a lot of like black and white circus stripes. I really like in my house.
Well, one day if you decide you want to show your home, just holler at me and we can take a tour when you do the finished result.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. I definitely want to do that when I'm done with this room for sure. I'd love for you to see this. Okay. Oh my gosh, wait, we are off topic.
Yes, we are. That happens on this channel. Okay, so DM, give me your opinion of her assessment of what she saw allegedly on that morning. Do you believe she's telling the truth?
I do think she's telling the truth. I don't think she. Okay. I do. I do think she's telling the truth. I don't think that she would have any reason not to. In terms, I don't think she's involved or knew anything or anything like that. I think that if anything, she would be, and it's in my opinion, that she would be she's morally guilty to me, I think.
Of not calling 911. Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, tell me why you think she didn't. Because when you say I froze, one would say, well, people are coming in this house. Just listen. All these people are coming in and out of house, right? So what would make me freeze on this one instant to where I don't think, hey, something's not right. I've locked my door. Maybe I should call these girls, text these girls, see what's going on. Do you even think she texted the girls to ask, hey, do you know this guy that just walked by my door?
No.
Why not?
I don't think she did.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know why. I think that in America, I think that in America, there's definitely a lack of people have a lack of response. Okay. They really need.
That's not good, but that's not good.
It's not. It's.
Well, let me ask you this: as Paris,
yes,
you saw this guy walk by. After all you've heard in a 5-10 minute interval, however long it went, You shut the door after freezing. Does Paris call 911 and or text her friends?
Paris clears the house.
So you would have ran out behind it?
I would have, as soon as I knew that he was out of the door and I had clearly had a strange feeling.
Okay.
I would certainly lock the door, and I would at least lock that door.
Which one? The slider door?
The slider, at least lock the slider.
Yeah, slider door, yes, okay.
But
she didn't do that.
No reason not to lock the slider.
Okay, but she didn't, and I did find that strange too. Let's say I'm thinking this guy has something up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just as soon as I saw that he went out that door, for sure, run over to it real quick and try to lock it? Or she just got so scared, I don't even want to go near the door. I'm going to lock my bedroom door.
What was she doing for 9 hours?
Well, 7
playing
hours.
on her phone. What was she doing?
I know.
Sleeping?
But remember, you think she has no involvement. So what was she doing in the room for under 7 hours? Was she asleep? How about she called that girl downstairs and told her, hey, something's going on? Do you think she called her?
But why would she call her and not the other girls?
Okay. But look
you
at
know
this.
What I'm saying? Like,
Next day, you had to talk to other people besides her, because the police says in my live stream, I play it, he says the call came from inside of the house, the 911 call, and it wasn't one of the girls who used the phone. So that means you did invite others over to even dial 911 7 hours later. That's not good.
That's not good. That's the issue. I have an issue personally. Well, I kind of have an issue personally with that lack of response.
Yeah.
I don't, not to change the topic again, I will get right back on it. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. We're talking about this because whether people want to believe she has something to do with it or not, it doesn't add up if I'm to believe what the captain is saying, that the call came from inside of the house. So if the call came from inside of the house and neither surviving roommate called, then that means you had other people in there calling. That don't look good, because if I just found a person dead and you had to found 2 dead because 2 were in the room together in each room, I would be running the hell out of there. I'd be standing out there freezing to death, dialing 911. I don't care if I got to sit in my car, let my car run till the police show up.
It's a natural response to not want to be around.
That's what I'm saying.
That are not alive.
So even though it's 3 levels, I don't want to be in there, period.
It sounded kind of like you could not miss the disaster.
Right, because look at this. The affidavit says Kohberger's footprint was outside of her door. So that would have been the first thing you've seen when you opened the door that morning, if we're to believe you never went back out.
Yeah, unless when he left, it was still dark outside, thus dark in the house. And she just did not happen to look down at that time.
No, I'm saying when she got up in the morning.
Maybe she didn't look down at that time either.
No, I'm talking about in the morning, sweetie.
That's what I'm saying. Up. Maybe she didn't see the.
So you open your door and you don't see a bloody footprint.
What color's the carpet? I mean,
there's no carpet in that hallway.
There's no carpet.
Mm-mm.
Then you'd notice that.
But I'm just saying.
Immediately.
Let's just say you get up, you notice the blood, and then you say, okay, this don't look good. Let's say she saw other blood prints going to and fro in the kitchen. So that's when she says, okay, let me go check on these kids. So then she goes around. Possibly you would see footprints going and coming from Xana's room, because you just killed 2 kids. He killed 2 kids on the top, and would have believed they were the first ones. So he had to come down the stairs, leaving prints, then walk past her room to go to Xana's room. Then you just killed them, so you're probably still bloody. You're dropping blood coming back out. So this will be a trail of 2 times coming and going.
It would be a mess.
Yeah, it would be a mess.
It would be a mess. So so this is not the same. Obviously, it's not the same case, but it kind of reminds me of it. A family friend, actually, a family friend's wife and her friend were murdered in LA in 2021 in November. And someone a few people actually heard the girls being like tortured for like 8 or 9 hours and didn't do anything about it, and their lives could have been saved, and they weren't. And the witness was like, didn't want to get involved. I don't know. That guy's weird.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like to get involved. And this is what I'm trying to make people understand about her, is that you don't know these kids personally.
Yeah.
And we have seen time and time again with true crime, there are people who know things. There are people who heard things. There are people who witnessed crimes, and they did not call the police. They have not called the police, and they're holding the secret 5, 6, 10 years later. We have heard this so many times. And can actually have been right there. Yeah. And will not speak.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that it's different. Not super different, but I also think that it's notable that she did hear things.
She had to.
That sounded like distress, and she didn't do, she did not act.
Yes.
She chose not to act. And there's no excuse. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's no excuse.
There is no excuse, because let's be truthful. 50 feet from Xana's room is a home that picked up audio of a thud, dog barking, crying, and whimpering. So how in the world would you hear that? That's picked up distortedly off their camera, and you're in the house around the corner on the same floor. So now you got to question the girl on the bottom floor. Was she up and possibly heard a thud, Xana, somebody hitting the floor, listen, but never got up?
I think it's,
because all the focus has been on DM, but there is somebody else on the bottom who possibly heard the same thing.
And I'm not sure. I'm just going more on DM because she spoke about it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's pretty wild that she heard, I'm gonna help you, and someone's here. And really, like, it's not like she heard something that could have been partying or was.
And that's the whole gist of the story. There was no party, so that's why you have to question the I froze when you knew there was no party. To your knowledge, you didn't hear music playing. You didn't hear people running back and forth, talking, laughing, falling down. It's dead silence in between these conversations and thuds and whimpering and crying.
And she's listening hard enough to keep exiting the room.
Getting up. Yeah, that's bad.
I don't know what she's gonna. I don't know if I wouldn't say that. I don't personally think that she's like involved. But yeah, I do think that she failed to act, and I do think that there should be. If not like I don't know. I think that there should be a moral consequence or something.
Wow, interesting. Because a lot of people, nobody has spoken on that. Should there be a ramification for not getting up? Because her family is.
I think that,
the Gonzalez's are, defending her actions. But the thing is, what I keep telling people about any type of crime, or just in general, holding conversations with people, your word is bond. So if you aren't worthy of telling the truth on any type of situation, who are you? Because that's all you are worth, is what you tell people.
And
so go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And if it's something as silly as, she had like some weed in her room,
right?
That can't be it.
I don't think they would care under the circumstances unless you just had a brick of cocaine. You understand what I'm saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. Even if she did have like a little baggie in her, in her little going out stuff. What?
But you know what? Anybody who would have just a bag of weed would have enough sense to stick it in their underwear and still call 911 or put it in their car, whatsoever. It's minute compared to dead people in a house. A bag of weed, even if it was an ounce of weed, it's still nothing compared to dead people. And you don't have anything to do with the dead people. Somebody in the chat says, I wouldn't want her to be my roommate. I wouldn't want her to be my life.
I wouldn't.
No,
I wouldn't want her to be my neighbor.
Well, that's true.
I wouldn't. I would not.
How do you feel about the picture of the news magazine seeing her running a few weeks ago out in the cold in shorts? After all you've been through,
well,
why be visibly seen running and alone?
And alone. Also, weird that she's being photographed. True. That is strange. That's an invasion a little bit, I think, for privacy. But what is she doing?
She's running.
Why? Why? From
I don't
what?
know. No, she's just like taking a run.
No, I know, but why? From what?
Because she
Like,
wanted
what
to
is she
run.
doing?
Like you do. Like you take your walk, you go outside, you walk your dog, you took a run, which that's her right. But
It is
under the
her right.
circumstances, with
Under
all
the-
the gossip, I think I would not want to be out walking alone. That's my point.
I wouldn't want to be out walking alone. What did she know? And then that brings the question, what did she know?
Right. That's
That
why people were questioning it, I'm sure. After all you've seen and done, now they've told that you've seen this and this of this guy walking by. Would that make sense to be out in public alone
no.
after what you just went through?
No.
I don't think I'd want to be out by myself.
I don't think I would want to. I don't
BB
like
Fan
to be
said
out.
she sure wasn't running that night. Exactly, she wasn't.
She was not. She was running to her door and back.
That's strange to me. So nobody can say
That's
she was that
weird.
drunk because you're not that drunk to keep getting up.
If I'm drunk and I go to sleep, I'm sleeping.
Okay.
Like, oh, also, I will say that I mentioned this to my mom. I was like, well, what was she doing in her room for that long? Like, what was she doing? And my mom was like, maybe she's drunk and stupid and fell asleep. I mean, it could happen, like, but she didn't sleep through it. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Because he's in there under 15 minutes, 12 minutes. So that
Yes.
means if you're up opening the door 3 times to see the killer walk by, then you're basically up the entire time he's in there because they're putting its kill at about
You're
12 minutes.
concerned the whole time.
Yeah, but you're up. You're
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So what about the girl downstairs? Do you believe the BF heard something and she stayed mum this entire time?
I think that if she heard anything that I don't know. I just don't think. I think she could have slept through it.
Okay.
Personally, I slept through this, not this one. It's like, oh, you can't see it, but I slept through this whole like dresser thing being built in the next room from me.
Oh,
and I did not hear it.
construction.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
hear it. I didn't hear like them putting up my light or anything. So, and that is concerning.
Because I think in deep sleep, you don't hear things. That's why it's called deep sleep.
Exactly. I don't think
Mhm.
in deep sleep you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
And if you do, I feel like it'll kind of be like mingled into your dream. You're not gonna
Yes,
be
exactly.
alarmed.
Yes, exactly.
So I think that if BF was sleeping, that's fine. She was sleeping. Then
Let me ask you
it
something.
would make sense if she didn't hear anything.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Do you believe DM came out of that room at some point after he left out of the slider door and she never told the truth?
Why?
That she did go out of the room. She did go through one of them girls' rooms and found them dead and never said anything.
Well, oh my gosh, that's so scary.
Yeah, it is scary.
I hadn't thought of that.
Why not?
I don't know, because I can't imagine. I don't.
Yeah, because guess what? You're getting up 3 times and then lock your door. Why would I think you didn't get up and go find trails of stuff and see some kids dead and then ran back because your mind started wandering?
But how likely is it that she could have done that without somehow leaving evidence that she had done that?
Well, that would be on her because they'll see extra footprints.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But would they have said anything? Would they?
Why would I
would
tell
we
you
know
that? I'm not going to tell you that.
True.
I'm not going to tell you I see smaller shoes in the mix of the blood.
Yeah.
And for her sake, I just thought about this. She better hope she didn't get up and walk through and didn't call because now your footprint is in this.
Mm-hmm. That's
and how would you be able to
the
explain
first
that
thing I'm
logically?
thinking.
You wouldn't.
Unless she woke up in the morning time when most of the blood was dry and then went back to bed. That'd be weird too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be ways she could avoid it, but that's just,
Yeah.
you'd have to take that to your grave, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, we've learned about taking stuff to the grave. Sometimes that stuff don't go to the grave. That's why there's footprints. There's footprints on your feet, your shoes.
Yeah.
Then let's say you were barefoot. Then now you got to go wash off the blood off your feet. See?
And you still leave footprints. Like, tokens.
Yeah, I know what you're
They
saying.
can-
Yeah, because
they
once
can
they spray the
find-
luminol, all that's going to come up. Anything left behind.
I would doubt if Bryan tried to like clean anything.
No, he would. I don't think he would have been in a rush. I don't think he did
Yeah.
any of that.
And I
cleanup.
don't even think that was his.
That's what we thought
I
in the
think he
beginning
wanted to cause a ruckus. I don't
before we
think
knew
he
who the
cared.
suspect was. But now that they've shown the pings and the time
Mhm.
coming in and out, her opening, closing doors, I don't think he cleaned anything.
No. And it's also crazy how few, like how quick he did it too.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
not
let's
like
be
it was
truthful. How
throughout-
quick? How long do you think it take to stab a person? You're using a big knife. I don't
Big
think it would
knife.
take long to stab them with fury.
I think it's harder than you'd think.
I'm not saying it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. What I'm saying is you are angry. You had built up anger for probably 10,
Yeah.
15 years. I don't think it would take that long to stab people. I mean, it's just flesh.
And bone.
Yeah, okay. But if I
Okay.
stab you enough times, you're going to bleed out, whether I hit the bone or cartilage or not.
Yeah.
If I hit the right places, it wouldn't take long. You got to remember, they're left there for 7 hours. So even if they
Yeah.
were clinging to life, they had no chance because nobody knew. Allegedly, they're in there dying except for the killer.
See, here's the killer.
Okay.
That's why I don't, it's not like, oh, it's not like someone seeing someone that's clearly been dead for a long time and or like had obviously been dead a while and then you come upon the scene and what you would, I think that the response, you wouldn't be as responsible to no one's going to die if you don't call the police at that moment. That person's already gone. But there were 4 people there. And they do amazing things with medicine. And it makes me really nauseous to think that
possibly somebody could have.
someone
I
could
think
have
that.
survived.
I think that too. I think that
makes
too.
me sick. And if it makes her sick too,
you hope.
I hope. But
Yeah.
I hope.
But who's going to tell the truth that, hey, I got up, I saw that they were dead, and then I went back to bed? She's never going to tell anybody that.
She will never tell anyone that. Even in trial, I don't think that would come out.
But I think she's going to have a hard time when she's cross-examined by his attorney.
Yes, because, I mean, yeah, like what? You're right there.
Yeah.
You're right
And
there.
they're going to say, if people outside or audio can hear sounds coming from the inside, how are you there opening and closing doors and didn't hear anything? I don't know how you can explain it logically.
She heard it.
You know, Nancy Grace did a podcast the other day. I want you to listen to what she said. She said, as she was sitting outside in the night, she heard a baby crying from the adjacent apartment complex, okay? Now, mind you, we would assume that door and window is closed to where this baby is crying. Now, listen carefully now. If the door and window is closed to this apartment and Nancy Grace and her crew are outside and can hear the baby crying, imagine what was going on in that house. And you are right there on the second floor and the first floor inside, not outside.
Yeah. You would have.
That means that place is not insulated well for that audio to pick up any type of sound from the inside of that house.
And clearly it's not a great construction anyway because of the leaking after.
Well, if you died on the floor for hours, you bled out. Wouldn't that tell you that?
Well, yes, it would. No, it definitely. But I'm just saying, like in a house that was normally insulated, I've just not ever seen that before, even in a trailer.
Yeah, but you haven't known of anybody lying out dying either, have you? Because that's what happens when fluid leaks out of a body or anything. It soaks through. So it doesn't matter if it was carpet, flooring, towel, blood. It goes through the surface.
Have just not heard of another case where they've
I
documented
understand what you're saying.
in a picture.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you that many people who've died, there is damage underneath the surface once it's pulled apart. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. For sure. And I totally understand that. I just, there's no way she didn't hear anything and that even if they could have been discovered sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
Yeah, because I've brought a case, person stabbed 19 times a girl. She lived.
yeah, you can. There's been what was that little? She was a little girl, like
Mhm.
like 9 or 10 or something. I'm sorry, my contact. A little girl like 9 or 10 or something, and her two little girlfriends stabbed her like it was like 40 times, and she survived.
Wow.
So I'm just
I understand.
yeah.
So the sheath he left behind, did he leave it there on purpose or he forgot it?
Oh my God, he forgot and he was freaking out.
Okay.
I think
He went back to the scene of the crime after 9 a.m., sat there for 12 minutes. What was he doing and why did he go back?
Do you think he got out of the car?
I don't know.
But see, that's the thing.
It's too obvious for me to get out because now it's daytime. So who knows what the camera's rolling daytime now?
Yeah.
See, somebody knows that he was there for us to find out that 404, he's circling outside trying to probably decide where to park. So then you have to ask that question. Where did he park? How long did it take him to get in the car from the 404 sighting? See, he was seen.
Yes.
Because if he didn't have his phone on, he didn't turn it on to almost 5 o'clock that morning, then that means something or someone saw him standing out there on that road in the car trying to decide what to do as far as parking. So now you have to ask, did he park outside of the road or did he drive up and park in the damn driveway?
I think
and the doorbell camera caught it from the house that caught the audio from Xana's room.
I think that it would be, I think that he as like organized as, he's not very organized, really.
Yeah, he thought he planned it, but he was a fool in one DMing, going in DMs, probably using different accounts, driving over there with his phone turned on, and then going to the scene of the crime, besides with his phone on and in his car, and then going to the scene of the crime in his car. But also he was there for about an hour beforehand. So what was he doing when he got there after 3 a.m.? Because he left his house at 2:47.
Maybe he was just scouting and just seeing what lights were on and off.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So where do you think he parked his car?
Was there not a parking lot? Or
yes, adjacent to the right-hand side.
Like on the...
to the right-hand side.
Yeah. I would say up there.
Okay.
Would be good, be a good vantage point for him.
Yeah.
And wasn't it like walking distance? Super
well, it's just, you could just walk down the hill, slide down the hill.
Yeah. Wow.
So let's go here. 404, he's circling in the road. That leads me to believe something's still off with that, because if he got there at 3, why is he in his car at 404?
3 at 4. Because he did
where I'm going?
And he was leaving.
He left. It only takes 15 minutes or 15 minutes or less. He's done it in about 11 minutes. So if he got there after 3, what was he doing after 3 when he got to Moscow? Just riding around, parked his car, jumped back in, left, because that's a weird time from after 3 to 404 inside of the car, trying to decide what to do as far as parking. See, this is where it's real dicey now.
Here's what I think that he parked there, and I think that he parked at the upper part is just what I think.
Okay.
He parked at the upper part, and then he could have just sat in his car, or he could have gotten in and out of his car.
Okay.
Left it parked, and I would say that he was probably stalking around, or at least trying his damnedest to figure out what lights were on and who could be there.
That's the only way you're going to know your target. You've got to be in the back of the property.
Is that where
if that's your target. But see, that's the whole point. We don't know who's the target now.
I think
well, I didn't ask you that. Who was his target? Maddie, Xana, or Kaylee?
I think that if it was Maddie and Kaylee, then he was stalking both of them simultaneously because they were just together all the time.
Okay.
And they do look a lot alike.
Yes, they do.
Now
imagine finding them in a bed together if they was your target.
Well, I think that he would think it was a 2-for-1.
Well, no, but I'm saying, imagine he would be angry is what I'm saying.
Oh, do you think he would be?
Angrier. Of course he would be.
Do boys not know that girls sleep?
I'm not thinking like that when I'm sick.
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
He could have.
And then if Kaylee was his target, that doesn't make any sense if I'm to believe that she's supposed to only came back for that one day to show her car.
To show her car.
See, this is why I tell everybody you have to pay attention to the information, because that has not been validated that she was not staying in that house because, one, her dog's in her room, but that's not to say the dog couldn't have roamed in there and it was empty. So if I'm watching your house and I'm following you, then I wouldn't be following you now, would I? Because you're not staying here. Stay woke.
Or that's
or
true.
Or Kaylee wasn't the target, as many people thought she wasn't.
I think that it was definitely one of the blonde gals.
Okay, Maddie.
Yeah.
Maddie and Xana would have believed that he found them at the Mad Greek or followed them to that place to eat. But now we have the owner saying he's never been there. So this is a hot mess.
Well, I think that I don't think that Xana necessarily would have been the target because she did have just a lot of pictures with Ethan. So there's a male presence around. And I would think that would make her less of a target to him.
Okay. Because she had a boyfriend. I see what you're saying. That I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would think. And then the Kaylee and Maddie were together
all the time. Yes, they were.
So
so do you believe he found them on social media first or out and about?
I think it would depend. Obviously, it would depend on if he was following them on social media before he came to Washington or not.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to say that. Could it be that he did find them on social media before touching down, and that is the reason he moved here? I do believe he moved here to kill in general, but it will be interesting if the pings can show he was following them before moving and or applying to the university, Washington State University. That would be baffling.
That would be baffling. Or if he had gone to Washington State and then just
happenstance. That's true.
Happenstance.
Okay. I think that may have crossed my mind once. Yes, that's true. He could have just went out there on a visit and then stumbled across them. That's a very good point.
Yeah, and I think that, and I don't know what type of gals they were, obviously. They sounded lovely. But I think a lot of gals, especially younger women these days, are like, if he was like, if he asked them if he happened to happen upon them in public, I do not think that they would have their guards up about him particularly.
No, because it depends on what he said. So let's go here. They assume she had a stalker from her wordings and different people at the smoke shop, this and that. Do you believe it was Kohberger? Because if I'm thinking that I saw him out in public following me and showing up the places I've been, wouldn't I go to the police?
Yes.
So now I need to know if Kohberger was just a DM stalker or a show up and follow her around stalker, whichever girl it's supposed to be. See, that's where all this is questionable because we don't know all the information naturally.
I don't think that, I am a little bit older than these girls.
Okay.
Well, how old are they? They were 21.
20 and 21, yes.
20 and 21. I'm 25.
What?
I'm 25.
Oh, yeah. Just a few years.
Just a few years. And I don't think that the word stalker is thrown around in terms of like telling your friends about it where multiple people know about it. It sounded pretty serious. And if he was,
somebody asked, do you think he told his dad?
Yes.
Really?
I do.
You think he told his dad he killed those kids?
I think that he did.
Wow. Tell me why.
Because I think that, well, why else have an awkward cross-country jaunt with your dad?
Yeah, that's a strange thing. Because guess what? You say you can't afford a lawyer, but it costs to fly. And I know almost 2 years ago when I was thinking about going to Houston, that was damn near a 600+ flight from Knoxville, Tennessee to Houston. I can't remember if that was one way or round trip, but that's still a lot of money, even if it was round trip.
That would be a lot of money even if it was round trip. That's
because we're south, because I'm still in the south.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you flew from Pennsylvania
to do a cross
all the way to the
country
end of the
drive.
earth, because that's the end of the earth over there.
It is.
Idaho.
It
So
is the end of the earth. So
one way, that's a lot of money.
I don't think that there was any other reason other than to tell him to
And then the
confide
gas
in-
you got to spend to drive back, even though that Hyundai doesn't drive, probably use up a lot of gas, but it's still gas. Driving from Washington to Pennsylvania, that's a long ass drive. I don't care what anybody says. That's gas, still gas.
That is, yeah, in gas, it's probably
It's higher on that end. Yes, on that end of the earth. Yes.
Yeah, there's no, what else, it's not like he moved any things. It's not like he packed
And
his
that shows you that he intended to go back. He didn't pack up his apartment.
I think he did. I think he thought that he was pretty slick.
Got away with it, yes. How do you feel about 1 month he was free? What do you think he was doing in the 1 month that he was free?
I think that he was on social media, whether or not he was commenting or like going on streams.
I think he was.
I think he was. I think that there's been a few of the
chats and things,
Reddit posts that are kind of suspicious, and kind of weird, and like that were around before.
Yeah. So what do you think about his older posts where he sounds very lonely in high school, detached from reality, his family? What do you think about the things he said about himself?
I think that I don't want to say a lot of teenagers go through disassociation, because I don't think that they do.
Okay.
But I do think that a lot of high schoolers are. You go through it. Oh my god.
Yes, you do. That's true. Insecure.
I was not always this blonde.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, it was hard.
Okay.
It was. Going through high school is very hard, and like, especially if you are insecure or just odd. And he didn't even seem like he had like a real interest in making human connection.
Yeah.
It didn't really seem.
But what's sad is that he's now 28 and he still didn't make it, and then he killed these kids. If we believe he's the perpetrator, do you think he is the perpetrator?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Who else?
Do you think he should get the death penalty?
Yes, I think that there's like, what other case would be better?
Do you think he was trying to emulate any serial killer, such as Bundy, BTK?
I don't think. There was one moment. So Ted Bundy, very similar. There was a different killer that he's more similar to, in my opinion. And I haven't heard a lot of people talk about him. Let me just. Okay, so this guy, Joseph James D'Angelo.
I think I've heard that name.
You have. To me, he seems more similar, and I feel like if he was emulating anyone, that it would be this man.
Okay. When do you think he started plotting to kill in general, or was it just something about the girl or girls that jumped him off, or he's always thought about killing? Maybe the past couple of years or so.
Like who?
No, I'm saying, when do you think he decided to start, to become a murderer?
I think he's been well on his way for a long time.
Since high school or a young adult?
Those are such dark, empty, sad, like.
And it's terrible if you read the wording. Whoever wrote it, whether it was him or whomever, it sounds like a very sad person.
I think it was him.
Because, like I tell people, that's a terrible place to be. Whether it became a murderer or not, that's still a sad place to be, to talk like that about yourself.
Yes,
that's a terrible place to be. Not liking yourself, not feeling like you fit in. You don't know how to hold a conversation. Anything you do or say is wrong. You're mistreating your family. You don't like the way people look at you. You don't like the way you look. Even though he lost weight, they always say that about people who lose weight. They still feel like the fat person. Skin.
I think they do always feel like but you would have never guessed that like he was, I don't think he was handsome by any means, but I think like so sad. Like, yeah, if he really would have tried a little bit harder and not murdered anyone, he could have, you know, been an incel on Reddit forever and live his sad life.
Yeah.
And
But
maybe
my thing
like,
is he could have gotten help. His two sisters that are in that field. And I think at some point he could have reached out to someone to say, hey, I don't like the way I feel. I don't feel good. I can't connect to people. I need to know why I can't connect. And I think through therapy, he possibly could have been a better person. But how are you going to know if you never try? So we have to ask ourselves that. Did he ever try?
I think that he tried to help himself by.
Yeah, but self-help, you see that wouldn't have worked.
Well, it's certainly not. But
yeah, because he's not a professional.
But he's like, I'm going to be a professional. He's like, I'm going to be.
You wouldn't be a professional in the beginning.
No.
As a child.
Oh, not as a child, but I mean like as a young adult taking the courses that he was taking.
Yeah, but I think he's taking these courses is to learn more about himself, and in that instance, you can't help yourself because now you're just trying to see a similarity between you and these creatures. There's no self-help there, I don't think, in my opinion.
I think that maybe he realized that.
Yeah, I think that's why he was studying them. He saw a similarity with himself and these creatures. So I'm not getting ready to try to fix me when I'm trying to learn more about me that's similar to these beings. So let me ask you this then. Do you think he ever wanted help? How about that?
No. I think that, no, I don't think that he wanted help. I don't even think now he's seeking help. Or he doesn't seem to be. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He's not reaching out for it.
I want you to think about this for a second. When he got back and walked into court and finally saw his public defender and the judge, one blonde, one brunette. Imagine that.
Ooh,
I told people to really think about that for a minute.
The pictures where he's speaking towards his attorney and her hair down her back.
Yeah.
Give me chills.
Yeah, because imagine he's being cordial because it's expected of him. That's what a sociopath does. But imagine what he's thinking. How dare they give me a blonde, you know what, for a public defender and a brunette woman for a judge. You can't tell me he wasn't livid when he walked in that court and saw two women that's going to hold his fate.
I think that he, especially with his attorney, would be livid.
Because you got to remember, they said he talked over Ramsland, talked over professors. He seemed to like to talk over women. He didn't value their opinion. So you now have two people that's going to hold your fate and help your fate. A woman, blonde, attorney, and a brunette, dark, nice-looking brunette as the judge. He can't be too happy with that. But I told people that's karma biting him in the ass. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Sweet karma.
Yes, nice. Pretty karma.
It's so good. And they're such lovely ladies doing the hardest job ever.
Yes, exactly.
My goodness.
I think I would be very fearful to be his attorney and sit across him as people have been bitching and moaning about him not being shackled and this and that. Imagine behind closed doors in the meeting room, he's not shackled. He pulled a Hannibal Lecter move.
I mean,
because I think they're lax over there in that jail. Because when you start hearing about pizza parties and shit like that, I don't know if I trust you all to do right by him being unshackled and hand shackled.
I don't think so. And I think anytime she steps into a room with him, she is at
risk. Yeah.
Of course. And I could literally I could kill someone with an ink pen. You know what I mean? Anyone can do that.
And that's all it takes. We learned that from watching Silence of the Lambs. You get the smallest instrument possible to get away out of your hands, of your shackles, your feet, hands, anything to use to puncture the throat. Mm-hmm. And he probably knows he's not coming out of that jail. So really he has nothing to lose. His grand illusion would be that he could get off. But I think deep down inside, he knows he messed up and he left behind a lot. People are talking in that jail. He's overhearing conversations of mistakes he made. He knows he's not coming out of there unless he gets one crazy juror, but they still wouldn't let him out because he wouldn't have no bond.
They won't let him out, and there's no way. Oh my God. And No, they won't let him out. And I think that I don't know, he seems like the type to take the coward's way out. And
What? You think he'd kill himself?
I think he
Kill
would.
himself? Okay. How do you think his parents feel with all the new evidence brought out about the pings and the girl seeing him with the bushy eyebrows, DM, and now somebody's saying he was at the restaurant? Do you think his parents believe him now?
No, certainly not.
But they're not going to say it.
They're not going to say it out loud,
Yeah.
but I think that I would want in their first couple of words to the
To the
public.
public, yes.
In their first couple of words, they seemed like they could be persuaded that he could have done something. And
Why you say that? Why you say that?
Well, didn't they say we're just gonna see what comes out and see? Or
Presumption of innocence.
I could be totally wrong. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't remember.
I think they've coddled their son and they knew something was wrong with him. They may not have thought he would be a killer, but they've seen signs that he was detached, because you know your children better than anybody. And by the time you get a child 28, you know what they are about.
It reminds me of several other losers that have been that have been convicted recently.
Okay.
That had to call their daddies and confess to their dads. Oh. And I think that I don't know. I would hope that they would side with the victims, but I think that he reminds me of several other people who are just
like Mr. Watts.
Mr. Watts and Mr. Watts, Mr. Laundrie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
good examples.
They call their dads. They call their parents when times get hard, and I think that this was a big screw up.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
And I'm
going
sure
to the crime scene. Going to the crime scene in your car has to be the dumbest move ever.
Idiot. So stupid. And even if he didn't bring his phone, or did he?
Well, we don't know. He probably turned it off, because think about it. You're riding around that far from the house, 15, 20 minutes. Anything can happen. You get a tire blowout. Your battery could stop. You'd be a fool to be without your phone.
That's true. That is true.
Then he was riding around Idaho, Washington afterwards. So you know he had to have that phone on him. He just had it turned off for airplane mode.
Yeah. I don't.
What about the neighbor? The neighbor's wife said she didn't want him over. So imagine what she knew about him or witnessed to not want him back in their house, or want him to come over. What was he doing for her to say, "No, I don't trust him. I don't want him in our house"?
I am so sorry. What are you referring to?
One of the neighbors from over there where he lives has spoken.
He's so weird. He gives off. I feel like he probably gave off a weird vibe anyway, and also
maybe he said something, since they say he doesn't know how to talk to women. Maybe he said something when the husband wasn't around.
He might have said something when the husband was around.
Yeah, well, that too. Well, that too. But then why would you want him to come over? Then why are you asking her about him coming over?
Oh yeah, you're right. He probably.
But guys like to coddle guys too. So guys don't take things personal like women. Oh, he was just kidding. No big deal. Could that have been it? Like you said, he did say something in front of her, but he's trying to say, "Hey, honey, it's no big deal. He doesn't have any friends here. We're all new. Blah blah blah." You know, because guys are like that. They're oblivious to stuff.
Like that. They really are. I mean, I'm pretty particular about who I allow in my house as well, regardless of.
But you should, especially if these guys, if this is the same thing, they have children. My understanding, I think this maybe just one of the ladies that had children, perhaps. So hell no, he don't need to come over if she's the one that had kids.
Regardless if he said anything or not, and even if he didn't, she's got young children in the house. What's his business being in there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess hanging out with the husband. But,
yeah. And then they're all in school, or one's in school, husband in school, maybe. So I don't know.
I mean, he's pretty weird. I don't know. I wouldn't want him up in my place either.
But just imagine knowing and thinking he's done this.
Yeah.
You talked to him, passed him in the breezeway, going in and out the apartments.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be even mortified knowing you've had him in your house, had him around your children if you have children.
Exactly. That's kind of, I feel like that anyone who's under suspicion for a murder,
heinous crime, yes.
a heinous crime of any sort,
Any source. Exactly.
probably a pretty good idea just to not let them in your house.
Yeah.
Even
But
if
that's
you
the whole
don't-
point.
Oh,
by the time
yeah.
they found out, he was already arrested. You didn't know
Oh.
before he was stalking kids and following them on social media. If that's true, he followed them or DM'd them.
Well,
how would you know that? You don't know what people are doing.
Well, even if he didn't say anything untoward to her or anything weird, maybe she's had an excellent
Intuition.
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's the whole thing. He's a creeper. So who's to say he wasn't creeping around, husband wasn't around, and she saw this behavior? Because if he's creeping these kids out in the day, why wouldn't he do it over there where they live? There's also kids who said they didn't even lock their doors over there at that apartment complex. See, this is ridiculous.
Oof.
So you've been leaving your doors open with a killer, stalker, right in your midst.
I think they've been leaving their doors to their apartments unlocked, and then if they have roommates, they're locking their individual doors. That's not sufficient.
No, it's not. Yeah, but I'm saying the people where he lived said they left their doors unlocked. Where he lived.
Ooh, does he give you? I was gonna say, never mind. Remember the neighbor? He's irrelevant now, but you know the neighbor who was very talkative. Mm-hmm. He reminded me so much of another guy that was giving interviews like that.
Yeah. Well, the point is you don't know people. So when people start talking, immersing themselves, because I think Jeremy was doing too much, you didn't know what to think of him. But look at how bad people talked about him and the other guy, and then we find out these two aren't even involved. This is why it's sometimes best to keep your mouth closed. You don't immerse yourself in true crime. You say what you have to say one time and be done with it. Because in the end, you didn't know the kids. So really, there was no need to be giving 4 and 5 different interviews to the news. You didn't know anything. You didn't see anything. So why are you talking?
They just want to be.
And that's what's sick about true crime. This endless intervening. I don't care what anybody says. I look at you no different than the person that's accused of the crime, because you're showing signs that something still is off with you. And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it about themselves, but there is something wrong with you when you feel the need. You have to be in a crime that you do not know the victims. You don't know the perpetrator, but you feel the need to be right there talking, commenting, giving interviews. That's a sign there's something wrong with you. And that's what experts have said recently, that many people are walking around with the characteristics of these same killers. You may not have killed anyone yet, but you have equal characteristics.
I think psychopathy is rampant.
Yes, because that meddling, that's a sign that something is not right with you. Why?
Well, it's one thing to be to insert yourself in general. It is another thing entirely to reach out to those who are suspected of heinous crimes, even it just being, I think that there's majorly wrong with.
Yeah, because it's just like right now, what would I look like calling the FBI on a random case where I know nobody, just to say I had a dream, or I think this, and you should hear what I have to say, and I know the mother did it, or the brother did it, or Joe Bob down the street did it, and he's been posting all this weird stuff on social media, and I think he did it, but yet I don't know these people from a can of paint. How is that normal behavior?
It's not normal behavior.
It's not normal.
It's not. And if it looks like I'm rolling my eyes or anything, my contact is.
That's okay. It's that time of the evening because you're a few hours behind me. It's after 1 here. But that's my point, is that you don't know the people. So you don't have any business calling the police department, state police, the FBI to immerse yourself in a case that you don't know anything about. I've had people even in the chat and the panel would say, yeah, I called this person and I called the police. And it's like, you're all the way across the country. Like, why the hell are you calling the fucking police to tell them what? Well, I just want them to know what I think. And who are you to call the police to tell them what the fuck you think? And you don't even know these damn people. And you want me, a sane person, half-ass sane anyway, to agree with you and tell you that behavior is
That's a
normal.
good-
No,
that's-
it is not.
No.
And I won't agree with you. I
It's
will not agree with you.
embarrassing to be part of the true crime community.
But then some of these people are not even YouTubers or bloggers. They're just random people watching the story. You're still wrong. Whether you are a tuber, a blogger, you're an author, you're a news reporter. The point is you don't know the people. So you have no business calling the police to say anything.
And I agree with that. And I also agree that you have no business reaching out to, I think that is meddling on another.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, trying to get information, because we've done it. I admit I've called a few people, not called, but reached out DM about a story. But once they didn't respond, I never reached out again. You understand what I'm saying? Never reached out again, because at this point, you're doing what we're talking about with this guy. You're stalking the people. You're bothering them.
But you're also not, I'm talking mostly about, and that's pretty bad too, but reaching out to like suspects and not trying to necessarily gain.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. And act like you're concerned and I want to get your side of the story.
Like what?
Everybody knows you're pimping the situation.
And how, you know what I think is wild? I've heard it stated on multiple live streams just across the board where people will be like giving the
people in the store that look suspect. Yeah, they look suspect.
Telling a suspect, oh, you shouldn't say that, or oh, don't say it. Like, get out of town. Like, are you?
Let's ask with missing children. Prime example: somebody's missing, and naturally, the people on the inside of the story are the first people looked at by police. The police will tell you that that's our job. We work ourselves from inside then out. But when things start looking suspicious, you possibly should not be saying anything to these people. And like you said, reaching out and asking them stuff, then you're promoting them. Oh, they didn't do it. And I know they didn't. Yeah, you met them all of yesterday and you know they didn't kill their kid. Or you know he didn't kill his wife. You don't know that.
How could you? And even if you could.
But they will swear they do. And you've seen that with YouTubers too, who have decided to jump on the bandwagon and promote random people in a story that you don't know from Adam. And then when you start seeing signs that they're belligerent, they're drunks, they're drug addicts, they're people who have stayed in trouble with the law, they've got bad situations with child rearing, DHS involvement, taking away from kids, arrests, you're still going to promote this kind of person.
Especially, it seems
that makes no sense to me.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. And I feel like it's like harboring a suspect in your comment section. It's so weird. So strange to me. I don't know. It's crazy.
But there's a lot of people who are, they're sociopathic as well as the people who are possibly the suspect in the story. They have the same tendencies. That's what everybody seems to understand about.
That's why they find
a common ground in the story.
Common ground. And I just don't think that a normal person from any capacity could do that.
Well, see, that's the reason why I try not to indulge in people who start talking like that and they start saying those things. Because as I said, I've had many people come up on the panel and in the chat, and they have admitted to calling the people, messaging them. They have reached out to law enforcement, and I've lost any type of respect for you when you do that. I don't even want to hold a conversation with you because you're not somebody that I would even trust to give a sound mind and judgment to the story, because you're showing us that you're off.
And imagine if they actually did have a wild true crime situation happen, then they really would be all up in there. In person, live and and sometimes they still do. It's crazy.
Well, because you would do it if you do it with a stranger.
Yeah,
you would do it with somebody that you knew of.
Yeah, of course. It's. Have you seen all the? Have you happened to see the? People are like writing him love letters and requesting.
I heard somebody mention that. Yes. But that's to be expected. They say he's got some type of incel fan base already on social media. So that's to be expected. Once they threw that word out there, incel, which was, people assuming. And then here comes this group of guys who think they're incels. And then here comes the people who like to identify with killers, which I call the underdogs. that shows me there are a lot of sick people walking around. That's why I said a lot of people are just 2 minutes from becoming a news story, because when you start aiding people you don't know anything about, it's easy to say, well, you shouldn't say he's guilty and you don't know if he did it or not. Well, the opposing factor is the same as what you're doing. Why are you aiding somebody that you don't know could have done it? So it's the same.
Yeah. I think people are getting a little too comfy. And I think that I do think that I think that people overuse the term incel, but I do think that it applies.
I've never heard of it before until recently. Really? Yeah, I'd never heard of it.
Would you like a rundown?
No, I'm just saying I had just never heard of it before. I hear people talk all the time about, sociopathic behavior and things, and I had never even heard of the word before until here recently with this case. I've never heard it mentioned in any other cases.
So it is, but it's basically someone being an involuntarily celibate, which is a reality, I would say, for a lot of people that come off as weird. I would definitely say that that there are a lot of people living. There are a lot of mentally ill men that are living. Think that they're missing out on something that they deserve, and they don't.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, as I said before, everything's a choice. If you see that you feel awkward or acting awkward, or you trying to figure out what's wrong with you, why not just take the steps and going to seek help, and then let the doctor tell you what they think is going on with you, and then you can agree to disagree. But chopping somebody up, it's not going to solve whatever the hell's wrong with you.
That's a little too level-headed, though.
Yeah, I know it's level-headed, but I'm just saying, whining and crying that people won't talk to you, don't like you, is childish. They don't have to like you. That's the point.
So I've looked into the whole incel thing like quite a bit. Because there have been other cases that are directly as a result of someone thinking that they deserve something that they do not. And it's a whole thing. It's wild.
So I don't understand. So are you saying that's the definition of an incel? They believe they deserve these people?
They are, incel is an involuntary celibate. They realize that they are losers, I think, a lot of the time. I think that they do realize that they're losers. And, I can actually break it down. Okay, so
now that's not a good word to use.
No, it's not.
For a human.
No, it's not. But it's not like it's accurate. It's not. Usually, it's in this case, it is not an insult.
Yeah, that's because my thing is, but it's an insult to yourself if you would consider yourself a loser.
I think that so there are Chads, which are like hunky guys who get all the babes and who work out and who are handsome, Chads. And then there are Stacy's, who are like hot girls being friendly, just existing. And then there are, I don't know the term of the incel in this case, but there's like Chads and Stacy's, and
let's just call him Bob.
I want to see. I'm gonna look real quick what the actual. There's like a name.
That's the whole point. That's just man giving out a name. Well, that's the reason why we're in this situation right now of discussing what you're talking about. Is because man is giving these people these names and these identifications as an incel, a loser, or this. You should think better of yourself. Whether you feel good today, fat today, bad nose today. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Everything is about self. And you can't change anything unless you recognize that, hey, I've got a problem and I need to try to change it. In the end, you shouldn't be worrying about somebody else's opinion of you, because that's what's wrong with us right now, is worrying about what other people think of us, how we should look, how we should act. But in the end, many Bobs have been chosen. And I'll give you a perfect example. Weinstein is a perfect example of a Bob, a fat Bob that was wealthy, that was a nasty person, nasty being, gross, but he got a very beautiful wife. Now, whether she married him for his money, I don't know. But 9 times out of 10, he sure didn't marry him for his looks. She didn't marry him because he was great looking. She sure didn't probably marry him for his sex. Because we heard in court he didn't have anything down there. So use deduction of why she married him. But that's her business.
Yeah. Well, so an incel, I pulled up an incel is a member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with views that are hostile towards men and women who are sexually attractive.
Yeah, see, but listen to what you said. Listen to what came in the beginning. That wasn't a psychological term. You said online.
Well, yes, but it's usually it's men who could not have sex if they tried to. There's nothing they could do, they think.
So I don't understand that.
I don't either. There's someone for everybody, but also it's also how Chad's and Stacy's are.
So what are they saying? These group of guys want a certain type of female? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Or any female, but they feel like but they're super pissed that they probably cannot like bag a 10 or anything.
Okay, get the certain type of female.
Get the type that they think.
Yeah, because you can have sex with anybody. I refuse to believe that nobody can not get sex. That's bullshit.
I think that there's also been cases where like maybe they could have sex, like they could make that connection with someone to do it, but maybe they're impotent and maybe they're mocked that way or feel
embarrassed. Well, I'll tell you what, only a fool would sit here and identify themselves as an incel. I wouldn't group myself. Group. I would not put myself in that type of category because I felt awkward or I looked a certain way. That's something a fool would do.
It's definitely a hostile, horrible group.
Yeah. Well, but we know from the alleged Chads that they're not too nice either.
No.
Or Stacy's.
But I mean, maybe they are. Like, if someone.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, let's be truthful. This thing is only being judged by your looks. That doesn't make you because you're pretty or you're allegedly pretty. Because that's the eye of the beholder. She's pretty, he's handsome. Well, but it does not mean they have a nice attitude.
It's also like like how they perceive Chad's and Stacy's being treated.
Yeah, I understand that. I get all of that.
Just in general, you know?
But I'm saying I wouldn't personally, even if I felt awkward.
No, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't put myself in the group is what I'm saying. Even if I was insecure in myself, I felt inferior or whatever, I'm not going to go online and say, yeah, I'm an incel. I just wouldn't be stupid enough to put myself out there like that.
I wouldn't either, but there's also a lot of support for them through their own community.
Well, that's great.
It's terrible. I don't think it's not okay.
No, I'm being smart. I'm being a smart ass. I'm saying that's great. Yeah. If you want to coddle, you're coddling somebody's insecurity. So that's not a good idea.
And they all agree, and they also think that like maybe, well, I don't know. I'm just like I know, but I think that he saw himself that way. I think he saw himself as fat. Still,
yeah, he still saw himself fat. Yeah.
Fat and weird and awkward, and he is awkward and he is creepy, but was he awkward and creepy before? Like, was he just?
Well, I think he didn't give himself a chance to try to get into the world, because see, my thing is this: once you put a stigma on yourself, which goes back to what I'm saying about this incel thing, once you give yourself the stigma, you're not giving yourself a chance to think outside of the box. You're just going off of what you're seeing visually in the world that we allegedly like about people, the Chads, the Barbie dolls, the this, the whatever you want to call us, them, those. So once you get yourself stuck in that box, once you stick yourself in that box, you're going to have a problem.
You are going to have a problem. And I don't know I'm not sure what they want the outcome to be. Necessarily.
Well, see, think about this. It's easier to stay angry and group yourself in a box. So you're grouping these kids in a box, or these people in a box, the pretty guy, the handsome guy, the smart guy. So see, that's a box. Yeah. I'm this goofy, awkward, this and this. That's a box. Once you put yourself in the box and you group other people in a box, You can't see outside of that. That's common sense. That's why the world's messed up right now, because people group people in boxes and assume, well, she's nice looking. They got a great big house, and oh, they think they're better than me. And a lot of people view the world like that. I hear people talk all the time. Somebody made a comment on my channel page about, my Cash App thing, and I thought, that's really none of your damn business. Well, I don't get any help, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? So what was your point? And I shouldn't even be saying that, but it's just, see, that's some person's stupid mentality.
It is, but it goes to, he's been feeling that since he was.
Yeah, because people judge you by the stuff you have. Oh, they can come inside your home and say, oh, wow, she's got all this pretty stuff in there, and I don't have that. But that's your choice. That has nothing to do with me or somebody else. Just like right now, I can go down the street, and my neighbors at the end of the street have fabulous houses. Well, just because where I'm living isn't as fabulous as that, why am I angry with them? I have no reason to be angry with them.
Right.
Obviously, they worked hard and they own that. That's their business. But I'm not going to walk around mad and just, you know what I'm saying? Just drive by, sit at their drive and
but there are people
huffing and puffing. Yes, I know that. But I'm not that kind of person. And I'm glad I'm not. I congratulate people when they're doing well. That's why I post all these pretty pictures of people's homes and fabulous houses and cars. Maybe they can't afford it, but that's between them and their banker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't walk around mad.
I had a friend. She's wild.
I think that's the next live I'm going to do, that because that subject needs to be addressed.
I did have a friend, not my friend anymore. The last, we were friends for years and years and years, and every so often she would just start being really, really bitchy to me. Just and I'm like, girl, what's wrong? And just about every time she'd be like, well, when we were at the club or whatever, and someone looked at you and not me, and like, and I'm like, what are you talking? Like, it would make her so mad, and she would be mad at me.
Yeah. Well, he's getting more attention.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm dressed for attention, girl. Like, I'm doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to, not that I want attention, but like, yeah, like when we go out in Vegas, it's super fun to like have girls take pictures.
Well, let's be truthful. Did you find yourself trying to compete with her when you're out, or any of your other girlfriends?
No, it's not a competition.
Okay.
Or she's not my competition. I don't see people like as my competition either, because I know what I'm doing over here.
Okay.
But yeah, like we had this like huge blowout, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, what? And like, why are you treating me like this? And she's like, and she broke down in tears, and she's like, honestly, it makes me so angry that you're happy. It makes me mad that you have what I want. So
it's deeper than just the looks.
And it's deep. It's deep.
Yeah, it's very deep.
And she's like angry tears.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, do you find that she's this way towards others that look different? See, this is where I go when I start talking about putting people in boxes. That's what she's been doing. She's putting people in boxes.
I think that she.
You said no. You don't.
No.
She doesn't do this with other people.
She was super obsessed with me, honestly.
But I'm saying others. Have she treated others the same or talked about others in that way?
No. Not that I was like her only friend, and like she's my only friend basically.
Well, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Is she attractive to you? When you look at her, do you see an attractive young lady?
Yeah, she's so stunning, and like,
wow,
she's super pretty. Like, she's really gorgeous. She's super, super tall and slender.
Okay.
Long legs, like her long legs, and she's got big old fake boobies. Like, she's gorgeous. Like, just in her face is natural and gorgeous, and like.
Okay. But obviously, she doesn't feel the same about herself, or she feels some way up towards you personally.
I'm not sure if it was me personally, but it was like, it would definitely be if there were like men around.
Yeah. So that's why I was asking if she did it with other women. Then that would show that she's got an issue with herself. But she still got an issue with herself, even if she has a problem with you in general.
I think she does. I think she does have an issue with herself, and I think that she is just never like. I think you like. She told like one time I had just gotten my lips done a little bit, and I was put on lip gloss, and I'm like, this is the best decision I've ever made. This is awesome. Like, I love this. And then she looks at me and she steps back and she goes, well, yeah, but you're never going to love yourself.
Oh, wow.
And everyone in the room was like,
Well, where were you when she said that?
I was at a modeling event and we were backstage.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, girl, come on. Like,
insulting you in public.
Insulting me. And I'm like, I'm not going to love myself. And she's like, yeah, because no matter what you do, it's not going to be you.
Okay.
And I'm like,
well, do you think that's true what she said to you?
No, I don't think that's true.
Okay, I'm just asking.
I mean, I think it is true for her.
Okay.
When she does.
Well, had she had any work done? You said she had got her boobs done, so.
She did get her boobs done. She did get her boobs done, and then I had gotten my lips done just a little bit. They're really big now, but I had just gotten my lips done a little, and she was like, she would just constantly, she hated it. And then she got it done a little. So she's like, I don't know, like a little Botox and like just tiny bit of her lips, but nothing like a natural. You would never be able to tell. Even her boobs look real. But she just, and like, even when she, this is super off topic, but like for me, when I've gotten stuff, like when I got my lips done, I'm like, oh, that's me now. Like, that's the part of me. That's
okay. What
I look like. You know what I mean? It's what I look like. And but she doesn't see it like that. She sees it as something foreign that she that she like, it's not ever going to be her. So it's not okay. So it's not.
But if she's had her boobs done, then that's really no different than the lips.
Well, she but she's also like, they're not mine. She's like, I can't, like, she doesn't have a connection. Not that you should have connection to your fake boobs, but like, she's like, yeah, they look good, but they're not mine. They're not me.
So she's got some issues. So
that's an issue, I think. I think that if you have to be, like, it's not going to be okay unless you are naturally a double D. You do naturally look like this without, I don't think that's realistic. Obviously. Okay. I don't think that's realistic at all. I don't think that's healthy, obviously. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something. How long were you friends with her?
Just about over 6 years.
So that's a nice, wow. So did you notice a better connection before you started doing things to yourself?
Did I have like a strong connection with her already?
I mean, did you have a strong connection with her before you started doing the lips and different things?
Well, we actually we met at just like a really transitional point in both of our lives. We lived in Chicago.
Okay. Where the Queen's from? Thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, what part?
South Side.
I used to get my hair done over there.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not as, I would say the South Side is not as dangerous as like State Street.
Well, my thing is, people don't understand. People work every day in Chicago. They have nice homes. They're nice buildings, condos. They have no jurisdiction over people committing crime, loitering, gangbanging. Nobody has any jurisdiction over that. I went to some people that were my brother's. It was his wife's family house. They bought this really nice building. It was redone, brownstone, but it was done in a modern way. And I'm telling you, everything in there was new, from the railing to the kitchen, each floor done with modern amenities. And it was like showroom. And that's smack dead in the city. As a city people live in, people don't understand that. You don't have any jurisdiction over what somebody's doing around the corner.
No, and everybody's generally just in their house doing what they're doing.
Yeah, but people are just trying to live. These people drive nice cars, they have nice jobs, but they live in the city. It's just the way it is. It's a city. It's kind of hard to not have crime in the city. Now, naturally, you go up the Gold Coast. That's a more expensive area up north. But it's not to say that a person walks out of a swanky $1 million apartment that he can't get robbed or murdered. That's just the way it is.
I have a condo in the West Loop still, and I did get robbed in the West Loop. I mean, I was kind of slacking, but still. Not in the West Loop, like right on State Street. It was the Target on State Street. It's so horrible. But on the other hand, was it
nighttime? Was it day or nighttime?
It was daytime. I was on the phone walking.
Not paying attention.
Yeah. And that was I never did anything like that.
So what did they do? Snatch your purse or?
Yes. Yes, he did. He did snatch my purse. It was so sad because it was like my first designer item that I'd ever purchased. And it was brand new. It was a Louis Vuitton Alma BB. And I just...
Yeah. And he knew what a Louis Vuitton purse was.
Oh my
obviously.
God. Yeah. And oh man, he got me so quick. He just like walked up behind me in the second floor of the Target on State Street, right in front of the Macy's across the street from it, and just like literally, it made a sound.
So were you in the store?
I was.
You snatched your purse in the store.
Snatched my purse in the store, broad daylight.
Now that's crazy.
And yeah.
So I thought you was like on the street walking and got mugged or something.
I have gotten not mugged, but these two girls were like being super crazy, but that was in broad daylight as well. Also, the gal.
Wait, explain that. The two girls did what? They walked up to you?
Oh, that's gonna be like a whole. That should be like a whole thing. It was so wild. I was living. You know where Pilsen is? In Chicago. It's just super cute. It's a little Mexican town. It's super cute. It's very, very adorable. And I had a townhouse there with a friend I was telling you about. And it was like 3 p.m. on a Sunday. It was so pretty outside. It was in the summer. And they had like a little street festival or something. Anyway, I went down there and I go to the bank and I'm walking around. I'm doing my thing. And I go to the bank and then I go to, I get like one of the little fruit cups from the vendor, and I'm like, do. And these girls are like, hey, come here. And I'm like, I better not. And then they came up to me and they're like, you're so pretty. And then one of them stroked my ponytail extension that I had in, and like my heart is like pounding. And I was like, whoa. I was like, do not touch me. Certainly not. And then I said it pretty sharp, and it caused a kerfluffle. And then they were like, "You're not even from around here. Go home. Why? What are you doing? You don't even." And I'm like, "I live up the street."
Yeah.
I live up, and they're like, "I bet your dad pays your rent." And I'm like, "I don't know my dad." Like,
oh my God.
And then I pitter-pattered away, and mind you, I was wearing platform jelly shoes.
Oh my
like
God.
Platform jelly shoes and like little top, and I'm like do. And I get like a couple blocks away, and I'm at the crosswalk, but there's cars coming, so I can't go yet. And I hear just some flip-flops behind me. I turn around, and one of the girls had gotten to me much faster, and she's like, "Oh, my friend wants to say sorry for touching you. She feels bad. She just wants to say sorry. Just wait. And I'm like, ooh, I'm like, girl, it's fine. Like, no, it's totally fine. I do not want to talk to you guys. It's fine. And then I tried to like the light change, and I tried to cross it, and she grabbed my ponytail, Queen.
Oh my God.
And yanked me with my ponytail that was sewn in my whole head. Like,
woo.
Oh, and about the really nice.
So what happened? You fell backwards?
I whipped she got my hair, so I was free. Oh my God.
So what'd you do? Start running?
No, I whipped back around and I like got my hair, and I don't want to get gory on your channel, but I broke her nose and like pummeled her little face.
My God, you fought back.
Well, I had to, Queen.
Well, it is assault because you still put your hands on you 2 times. So yeah.
Like,
oh my goodness. Well, that's the thing about being out, is that people will try you for whatever reason, and they obviously were some insecure girls.
They were.
Yeah.
And they were like trying to get my stuff off of me, like my sunglasses and like.
Oh yeah. They
got my hair
up to
back,
no good.
and one of them still had my hair. Love God.
Well, hopefully you're more careful when you're out in the public to just keep it moving. Don't stop and talk to people, because it's really not good to stop and talk to people. But people in Chicago are very friendly too. A lot of people don't know that people are friendly in Chicago, but you still have to be careful talking to people. Yeah, but you still have to be careful just being stopped and talking, because it is a major city. And even here in the South, you don't know people. You're just assuming that somebody just wants to hold a decent conversation, but you don't know people. You're not going to know until you've broke your confidence down and open your mouth and
They don't
yes,
know.
I help you
until they're
until you're in
swinging
a
your
situation.
ponytail
Yeah,
around.
yeah. So that's you have to be very careful with talking to people.
But I ended up getting all of my things back, and then her little friend came back, like, caught up or whatever to where we were, and I'm on her friend, and instead of helping her friend, she just is like taking my stuff. Anyway, so so I had to do what I had to do. I never thought it.
Now, how long ago was that incident?
I was 18.
18.
And
a few years
so
ago.
it was a long time ago, but it was. It's vivid in my memory even now.
Well, any type of altercation with a person will stay with you.
Yeah, and I'm like whipping him, and I'm in my like platform jelly shoes, and I've got like a cute little top on, and one of them yanked my top. So you can imagine the kerfluffle, and
yeah, you're using a nice little word for altercation in a public street. I was
So
nobody even ran over to try to help you.
No, I was surviving. I was fine, but they're small, shorter girls than me, and one of them jumped up and like got my neck, and I'm not gonna fall down. Like I know that if I fall, I'm down because I'm getting tired, and she's got me up by my neck and is hanging off of my neck.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. And then
barbaric, very barbaric.
I know, yeah. And I was like clearly winning. Sort of, but I'm like also clearly being attacked by two people, and I was hollering for help.
Yeah, that's what's sad. People are watching that. People are watching that.
Oh, they were watching.
Somebody watched.
Oh my God, there was a Queen. It was 3 p.m.
So you didn't have any friends or associates with you at that time?
No.
Damn.
No, I didn't. But I did get all my things back.
Luckily,
well, even if I didn't, I'd have my life. But yeah, I got all my things back. I was uninjured besides my ponytail, and I had a scrape on my knee.
Okay.
And my top was down.
Oh, your hair, your scalp or nothing wasn't damaged, was it?
I mean, a little. I have really sensitive hair, so I get traction, alopecia, and I did have a little scab. It was really bad. It was terrible. I was attacked, you know?
Okay. No, I'm just saying, like, where the hair was missing from your own hair? Missing?
One of my braids was like partially, it was like one little thing caught in my head, just like right there. It was a little, but no, it could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
It could have been so much worse. If it was, I feel like if it was like any other type of hair, it would have
you just got to be careful the places that you go and the demographic you go in, because usually when you're around people that tend to act ignorant, and it really could be anybody that looks just like yourself that could also jump off and act a fool and act stupid or want to put their hands on you, because you just don't know people. People just have a lot of envy-hearted, jealous type people out here.
And and I just, and then one of them dropped, so like, people are all around us, and people are all around us, and the one with her nose was disgusting. It was not good. I am not proud, but she was like, "You broke my nose. I'm calling. Wait for the cops." And they were like flagging the cops down because they were driving by. They're like, "Wait for the cops. Wait for the cops." And I'm like,
"Well, how did you get your purse and stuff?"
Snatched it back from him.
Okay.
I just. I was not about to lose another bag. I couldn't.
Yeah. But you know, most people say that was superficial, worrying about that purse.
Yes, but I was like, if they were clearly going to hurt me, or I just felt like I had the advantage most of the time.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. Okay.
But that is if someone were to do something crazy, I would.
Yeah, because see, sometimes fighting back can end your life.
It can, but I don't know what would have happened if I had not got a jump on it, got a start.
Yeah. They probably would have ran off with your stuff. That's what would have happened if you hadn't done anything.
Well, then they would have gone away with my ponytail too. I could not let it happen.
Well, okay.
I couldn't.
So you more worried about a damn ponytail, girl?
I mean,
because getting scalped, I think, won't matter when there's no hair.
It was.
Trust me, you don't ever want to be scalped. Trust me, just listen.
It was just so mortifying. Like, it was just so mortifying that I'm like.
But I think you'd be more mortified if you got scalped.
I would be. That
Okay,
is
and trust
true.
me, you don't ever want that to happen to you.
It's changed the
Because that's a very
ways.
traumatizing situation when your hair has been pulled out and you have bald spots from being attacked by somebody. So don't ever
Yeah.
worry about the hair.
I'm lucky I got away with just like a little, just like one, like a little bit of too much tension from one little part. But yeah, I am so lucky because it could have been horrible. It's changed the way that I've like done my hair ever since.
Okay. So this case is going to go forward in June.
Mm-hmm.
We will wait to see what other evidence they have. So I'm going to ask you this and I'm going to check out of here. Do
Mm-hmm.
you believe so far they have an airtight case against Bryan Kohberger?
Yeah, no question.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No question. Absolutely. Well, Queen, it was so nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too.
For having me up. I'm so serious about Vegas.
Okay. Well, are you on? Let me get a pen because I had logged out of the IG. It kind of messed up my other apps. I don't really like being on apps now because I don't like anything messing with my Google. And somehow these other apps, they do something to me when I'm on other apps. They bump me out for some weird reason. So I'm trying not to be on any other apps. Are you on
I'm on the emails.
Oh, you got an email?
Yeah. I'm just
you're not on IG?
I'm not. I mean, I am. I just have not logged in
a long time. Okay, don't worry about it.
I'm scared. I don't.
Yeah, the IG. With your email, you should be more afraid of the email than the IG.
I have
because IG, you don't have to tell where you're from or put your locations and stuff. But your email, that can be traced to your actual address.
It could, but
yes, it could. Yeah, it will. If somebody wanted to be that devious to try to find you, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why I don't do that. I don't like.
Well, I have it set up where it's not like my.
Okay, your actual address. Yeah, what is that?
It's literally
the VPN thing.
Yeah, it's literally. Okay. I'll tell you right now. It's literally Paris Ritchie at parisritchie.com.
Okay, let me. So what is that? Paris, lowercase or capital P?
I think it's a capital. I don't know if it is cap sensitive.
So capital, so PARIS. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ritchie, like Sophia.
Wait, RICHIE.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the next word?
At gmail.com.
At Gmail.
Paris. I'm so sorry. It's Paris Ritchie.
Mm-hmm.
At parisritchie.com.
Wait, Paris Ritchie.
Mm-hmm.
At.
Mm-hmm. parisritchie.com.
Lord, girl, Ritchie.com. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's like it's just a normal email. It just goes to like a.
Okay, so Paris Ritchie at parisritchie.com.
Yeah, it's
okay. So no Gmail. Okay.
I don't think so. Surely not. But let me know though if it doesn't go through because I'm gonna be looking out.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time and happy almost birthday. Happy Aquarius season.
Yes, thank you. The water bearer. Yes. Yeah. I can't wait. Listen, I've got a great week ahead, so I've got to be dolled up this Friday. Got to put on my good threads. I got to decide. I said I'm going to wear my own hair because I'm going to get a hair trim on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be all natural best I can, but I'm going to be fabulous.
I cannot wait to see you pull together some looks.
Oh yeah. I got to decide what I'm going to wear.
Well, keep me updated.
On Friday.
I'm going to watch this space.
Okay, thank you. Watch this back, play it back.
Probably will, yeah. I'm going to do it with my fiance. He's a huge fan.
Okay, tell him I said thank you. Happy New Year to both of you.
I will. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, Paris. Be careful, sweetheart. Okay.
Bye. Bye-bye. Well.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. That's Paris from Las Vegas. Thank you all so much for following the content. This live stream was pertaining to Lori and Chad Daybell. Lori's wanting to meet up with Chad to discuss their upcoming trial and also the information pertaining to Bryan Kohberger and the evidence that's been released pertaining to the unsealed warrant of his apartment. I brought these two cases together because they are coming out of the state of Idaho. These are diabolical beings. Idaho's dirty Omen. Does the state have a airtight case against Bryan Kohberger? New allegations against Kohberger being in the Mad Greek restaurant owned by Miss Fisher. She refutes the claim. Who's telling the truth? This is very bad business. But I believe we will find out more information naturally during trial of his whereabouts while he was in Washington and Idaho. If it correlates to any time he messaged the girls, DM'd the girls versus him showing up in Moscow, Idaho. If there is similarities in a time frame, how many of the girls he actually followed, how many he actually made contact with, did he follow any of the girls physically from one place to another? That's what I'm looking forward to hearing pertaining to him. And if indeed there is any verification of him going to the said restaurant, because if it is, that means the owner is not telling the truth. And then one would wonder why she would want to not admit that he's been in the establishment. Because in the end, you can't tell people where to go and can't go because, one, you didn't know him and you didn't know that he was a killer allegedly. That's the point of this story, is you don't know people. And that naturally people walk the earth and go places. And people don't know what they're doing and not doing, especially nefarious deeds. Thank you for following the content. Thank you, Ms. Parrish, for being on the panel. Please go to my community board for said updates and storylines. Please check out the queue for my previous live yesterday on the Cal City Boys and the trial of Jacqueline and Trezell West. Nancy Grace's podcasts are also uploaded to my community board. Please follow her content. And that's all I have for you this early morning in the high 10. You have been listening to The Vault XL. Thank you.